All about pleasant surprises. First, we've got a lot of good and surprising news about GTA 6. They spoke to the release date, the physical release, the marketing, and the use of generative AI. Second, we have Bungie Marathon leaks that could be encouraging to the sweaty players, but it could be another aspect of the game that will push away the casuals. We will discuss that and what that could lead to. We also have the Nioh 3 reviews coming in. They look great, but what also came in overnight and this morning was sales reports from an earnings call at PlayStation, and it looks like Ghost of Yotei somehow managed to flop its way past Ghost of Tsushima, which is not what any of those people who grift and, mislead the public said. Isn't that crazy? Anyways, we're going to look at all of it. Look for those timestamps below. I'm going to end the previous stream. We covered the Nintendo Direct. I'm going to bring people over, and thank you guys so much for being there in that live stream. I greatly appreciate the continued support of the channel. You may notice that we have this down here in the corner. It's a goal that when we hit, I do a Saturday stream with my wife. We have a react to gaming news. That is how I do this full time. We did miss a day this week. A buddy of mine got to do something that you only get to do like once in your career, and I did not want to miss it. So I made sure I was there for it. And we have breaking news. PlayStation just officially announced this. We have not seen this prior to today. This was only rumored to be coming out. I'm going to show it to you guys right now. This just broke not seconds ago, and this is called Horizon Hunters. Step into the world of Horizon Hunters, gathering a new co-op action game for Guerrilla coming to PS5 and PC. This is the one that has sort of the Fortnite-style artwork within the Horizon world. Let's take a look at the details. So here we go. Announcing Horizon Hunters Gathering, Guerrilla's new co-op action game. So this is apparently real now, the Guerrilla game that they've been working on that is a co-op Horizon game. Let's read what they have to say. They say, today marks a monumental step for Guerrilla as we announce a new chapter in the Horizon universe, Horizon Hunters Gathering. With the very first ideas that shaped the world of Horizon, we dreamed of players hunting machines together. We started with a small group of guerrillas, including myself back in the days as design director, and we began exploring what that could look like. Drawing on our experience from the Killzone multiplayer titles and the momentum of Horizon Zero Dawn, we set out to bring cooperative action into the Horizon franchise. Since then, the team and the game have grown tremendously. Throughout the development, we have done extensive testing, patching, and feedback iteration. One of my favorite moments was our first in-studio playtest with the entire team, a special milestone where the vision and hard work from every discipline finally came together in a playable form. It's always nerve-wracking to share early builds, but moments like that test, as well as today's announcement, make it worthwhile. I'm really excited to see what's the release date or timing of this. This is crazy they just announced this. Horizon Hunters Gathering is a cooperative action game developed by Guerrilla for PC and PS5, and it lets up to 3 players team up as heroic hunters to protect the world under threat from deadly machines. Combat is tactical, reactive, and deeply skill-based, building on the tactical precision of the Horizon games while embracing the dynamics of team play. The foundation of Horizon Hunters Gathering centers around challenging and replayable hunts. Today, we're revealing 2 game modes. Machine Incursion, a high-intensity mission where waves of machines pour out from underground gateways led by formidable bosses, and a Cauldron Descent, which is a game mode which is longer, multi-stage trial in which ever-changing rooms push hunters to their limits, from brutal machine encounters to hidden doors that promise power and reward for teams prepared to open them. Both modes will be available in our upcoming closed playtest through the PlayStation Beta program on PS5 and PC. We're excited for players to get their hands on and shape the game with their feedback. I guess my only thought in initial response to this is these sound more like modes that could maybe get kind of boring after a while unless they really iterate on them, like waves and stuff like this. I mean, this is cool. I mean, maybe this could feel kind of like Helldivers a little bit, but with big boss at the end. And then the Cauldron Descent could feel more like a progressive thing. In Horizon Hunters Gathering, you choose from a roster of uniquely skilled hunters, each with distinct melee and ranged playstyles and weapons, and select hunter roles further embedded with a roguelite perk system to craft the build that best suits your style and your team. I actually like the fact that it might have some roguelite stuff in it. That could make it actually really fun and little disposable fun play sessions. These hunters have their own motivations and personal struggles, which comes together in new stories that we want to tell in the world of Horizon. The game has a narrative campaign which will introduce new mysteries, characters, and threats. We are keeping that under wraps for now. Okay, so there is a narrative campaign. That's good to know, especially within the Horizon DNA and the Horizon sort of vibe. What we can say is that Hunters Gathering is fully canon, and its story story doesn't stop at launch. As you hunt dangerous machines in the wild, you'll travel through a range of environments that bring missions and stories to life. Each location offers its own atmosphere, challenges, and opportunities for your team to explore and master together. Between missions, you will return to Hunter's Gathering, a vibrant social hub where players can connect, prepare, and celebrate victories together. Here, you can customize your hunters, visit vendors, upgrade gear, and team up for your next adventure. With today's announcement, we're beginning the journey to hope to continue with you. Our first small-scale closed playtest arrives at the end of February. You can sign up via the PlayStation Beta program and mark your interest in any future Horizon Hunters Gathering playtest for PC and PS5. By the way, Horizon Hunters Gathering supports cross-play between PS5 and PC, plus cross-progression when you are logged in and save your game using your PlayStation account. Though it's still early on, you can expect more regular development updates and playtest announcements from us in the coming months. To stay in the loop on all the latest news about the game, we've launched a brand new Horizon Hunters Gathering Discord. We'd love to see you there. This is something that I have consistently said about live service games or ongoing games. You need to utilize early access, playtesting, betas, whatever. You need to include the community. This is exactly the right way to do this. I am genuinely thrilled that they're taking this approach. It's how you can remove rough edges or sticky things or dumb things that people might not like. Like, this is a really, really good call that they're doing it this way. It seems that PlayStation's learning their lesson about how to properly do live service, and this is one step in the good direction. On a personal note, it's both exciting and daunting step for us. Multiplayer games have always been a part of our studio's DNA, and it's where I began my career. Bringing a co-op hunting experience into the Horizon universe is something that we've envisioned for a long time, and we're approaching it with care, ambition, and passion. I hope the coming months give you a sense of the scale and complexity of what we're building, or better yet, let you experience it yourself in a playtest. On behalf of everyone at Guerrilla, thank you to our Horizon fans and creators who support and believe in us, and welcome to all new hunters excited to join us on this adventure. Horizon Hunters Gathering is about taking on challenges together, and we're just getting started. So yeah, I would say this is encouraging. I know some people might not like the art style, but I think you have to distinguish this a little bit from the main game, and I also think I think the distance and the trees look really, really cool. Like, I think the characters and stuff might get some criticism from people, but I think once you actually see gameplay and the landscapes and sort of like the scope of the world, like that right there, especially when you can kind of see out in the distance, I really do think that the art style is going to work. And I know some people might bristle at that at first. I think that's totally fair. I think it's totally fair to bristle at the art style at first, but I do think overall the art style is doing what I would like to see in a game like this, which is it looks kind of compelling. Oh, we've got a video we can actually watch and listen to. Let's see what they have to say here. We just read a blog. Let's actually listen to what they're saying about it.
Now, at Guerrilla, we love exploring the Horizon universe. And with every new project, we ask ourselves, where can we take our players next? What new stories can we tell? And what new experiences can we create? And we heard many of you wondering, but what is Guerrilla working on? And today, we get to show you. Before we dive in, I want to be very clear about one thing. We absolutely love making single-player games, and we're going to keep making them. They're a huge part of who we are as a studio. But next to that, we also had this long-standing dream to try to do something different. Our own take on how you can explore the world of Horizon together as a team of machine hunters. It's something new, it stands on its own, but it's also still very much Horizon. Let's take a look at how this new journey begins.
From the ashes of the old world came the machines. For ages, they were the guardians.
I'm going to say, I know people are going to bristle at this art style. I actually think it looks kind of dope. It's kind of like cel-shaded anime. I think it looks kind of sick.
Of the natural world. And they turned against us. Now, they're getting deadlier. By the day. Across the land, people are dying. That's why our leader gave me this command. We have to fight back. And to do that, we need a team. Soldiers who always hold the line.
Anybody else feel like they're going to turn this into a show on like Netflix or something? I get serious like anime cartoon vibes from this. Like they have plans for this to become like a franchise that's basically everywhere.
And legends. Looking for one last shot. The last line of defense for those who need it most. Made up of the greatest hunters in the land. This is Hunter's Gathering.
So yes, we're going with a very different look here, and that's very much by design. Horizon Hunter's Gathering is a very dynamic co-op action game. We've tuned the combat so it works really well for a team of hunters, and we believe that works best when supported by an art style that really matches that energy. We're going to be showing you more gameplay in a minute, so you can judge that for yourself. Now, one more thing before we continue. This game is still very much in development. Some things are going to be polished, others are still going to change. And that's exactly why we want to bring you in this early. So stay tuned till the end, because we want to invite you to come and help playtest the game with us and be part of giving the game its final shape.
Hi, I'm Ryan Buck, game director at Guerrilla. With Hunter's Gathering, we're bringing back what makes Horizon so unique. Set in the American West, 1,000 years from now, civilization has collapsed. The hunters are all that stand between the tribes and the massive animal-like machines that threaten their survival. And the crisis is only getting worse. The machines have grown deadlier and they're more dangerous by the day. Someone has to step up and push back, and that is the Gathering, a crew of unlikely heroes venturing out into the wilds to stop the machine threat. We'll launch with a roster of hunters that grows over time. In our first playtest, you'll be able to play as Rem, Sun, and Axel, 3 hunters with very different approaches to combat and teamwork.
Let's fight!
Combat is at the core of Hunter's Gathering.
Incoming attack!
It is tactical, reactive, and skill-based. We took the precision and tactical depth of Horizon's combat and built it for a team environment.
I think they're going to have to really, really work to maintain Horizon's identity. This very easily blends into so many games that we've seen, like Wayfinders and stuff, like that kind of like the ability, sort of unreal sort of drive that we've seen in a lot of games like this. They're going to have to really work against that, because right now, if you're not super familiar with what you're watching, you could easily think this is just another kind of like throwaway, like mobile adjacent game. And I think that's a risk. They've got to really carve out that Horizon identity.
You'll have to read enemy movements, time your attacks, and combine abilities with your squad to take down the most powerful machines.
Yeah!
It is a challenging game, and you really have to earn that victory. Now, when you start a mission, you pick and prepare your hunter. Each has very different melee, ranged playstyles, and weapons. You can select between classes for each hunter that change their abilities, from tank to support or tactician. During a hunt, you can tinker with a roguelike build system. Every machine encounter you beat gives you powerful tactical options. You've got perks, weapon upgrades, and various upgrades to your stats. In each run, you'll have to try and find the best possible combination of power-ups to take on the biggest machine. You'll be able to explore 4 large and very different environments at launch, each with its own look, its own atmosphere, and its own challenges for your squad to master. At the center of it all is the Hunter's Gathering. This is where you upgrade your gear, tweak your loadout, and team up for the next hunt. It is also just a fun place. For example, you can hang out in your own customizable campsite and then head back into the wilds.
Let's get out there.
Horizon Hunter's Gathering is all about challenge and mastery, and the missions that you go on lean right into that. During our first playtest, you'll get to try 2 very different mission types.
Let's show them what we got.
machine incursion.
Listen, full credit though, like they're letting us see this game really early and they're open to feedback. One of the number one reasons that a lot of these games have come out and fell right on their faces, they show nothing, say nothing, drop it out of nowhere, and people are like, this is not what we wanted. The best thing that could happen to this is I think the art style could be overhauled a little bit. I thought the cinematics looked really cool, kind of like a cel-shaded anime. The gameplay itself looks too adjacent to a lot of the games that have come out, and people are kind of on. They're going to have to work on that. I also think they're going to have to really take feedback on this gameplay, because if the gameplay doesn't deliver, because it totally could, it could totally deliver like a Horizon/Monhun adjacent experience. Those are very popular titles to come together into one game. Like Horizon is a huge franchise, and so is Monhun.
You fight to stop a large-scale machine assault on the tribes.
Here we go.
With your squad, you plan and coordinate which randomized power-ups to collect before facing a relentless boss machine.
Work together, win together.
Time is limited, with a violent storm closing in that cuts down your options to get stronger.
What is all this?
The next is Cauldron Descent. In this multi-stage dungeon, the hunters take the fight to the enemy. You decide which path to take, from brutal machine encounters to really challenging obstacles. They all require teamwork. Every clear chamber shapes your run and gives you power-ups to descend deeper and claim the rewards. These modes are the foundation of Hunter's Gathering. Tough, replayable, and built for squads who want to master them. We'll continue to evolve them with your feedback throughout our playtests.
I agree with the people in chat saying they need to let you create your own hunter and add classes. I do think it feeling somewhat like hero adjacent, that also could hurt its reception, because it just feels like, well, you've got these preset people I have to pick from. That makes it hard to feel a sense of investment into your character, because you're just coming back and choosing some person that you didn't really design. I think that can work against a game like this, having that sense of the player feeling tethered to the experience. So I do think that's another piece of feedback that they might get is, listen, I'd like to make my own character. The abilities are cool, the weapons seem cool, but making me pick a prefab person, I feel like people are getting a little, tired of that, especially if it's an ongoing game.
At launch, you'll be able to play the story campaign solo with NPCs or together in co-op. But that won't be part of the playtest. We want you to experience the story fresh when the game is ready. What we can say is that it's fully canon within the Horizon universe. It introduces new characters, new threats, and new mysteries that expand this part of the world. And the story doesn't stop at launch. We'll keep adding new adventures over time to the game. We hope you've enjoyed your first look at Horizon Hunter's Gathering. We're beginning a journey, and we're inviting all of you. Though it's still early days, you can expect more regular development updates and playtest announcements from us in the coming months. To stay in the loop on all of the latest news about the game, we've launched a brand new Horizon Hunter's Gathering Discord and social channels. We'd love to see you there. From all of us at Guerrilla, thank you for joining us today. Horizon Hunter's Gathering is about taking on challenges together. So we appreciate your help, and we're just getting started.
Somebody says, what makes this sell over Marathon? Same hero shooter type of game, just different graphics and 3V. No, I mean, there's no PvP element. It's very Monster Hunter adjacent, which is extremely popular. And yes, Horizon as a franchise is incredibly popular. Like, they've sold like 40 million something units between the two titles. It could sell on the name alone. I do think there's a handful of things they're going to want to adjust before launch. I do think they're going to want to tweak that art style. I think it needs to be a little bit more obvious that it's Horizon, because it's not obvious once they're playing. It looks very much like so many games that I've seen before. That's a danger. especially for a title that is known for how recognizable it is. Like, no one ever sees a clip from Horizon and is like, what game is that? This game, that clearly could happen. You could be like, I don't know what game I just looked at. It very much looks like so many other games that have come out. That's a risk. Other risk is, if you want people to engage in a game like this long term, you might want to consider letting us make our own characters, because it's hard to feel tethered to a game when I pick some guy whose name is like Cleo, and I'm like, who is that? And then you're like building your own little space and stuff. Now, for the stories, I understand making me play as a prefab person for a story, because like it might be particularly about them. But these are just some things off the cuff that I can think of right now. I think there's potential here because it's early. They're open to feedback. They're letting us see it ahead of time. That's the right call. That's the recipe for live service to actually work. What they've done up to now has not worked. You can't like surprise people with a game that's made in secret like they did with Concord. I think Marathon suffered a similar fate last year, which is why it got delayed. Even lately, this isn't PlayStation, but High Guard similarly kind of did this like, hey, surprise, we made this game and now you're giving us feedback on it. This is the appropriate approach and recipe, but I think they've got some hurdles to get over here. I do. I think they've got some hurdles to get over. They're gonna have to find their way with feedback, and credit where credit's due. They're doing the thing I've said you need to do. If you want a live service game to have a shot, then you're going to Horizon Hunters Gathering Reaction, Risky Potential. There you go. That was just kind of an off-the-cuff reaction. I did not know that was coming this morning. So thank you, everybody who's here. If you're watching on YouTube, take a quick second and hit the like button. We got almost 500 people here. Let's try to get to 200 likes. We are working on a pretty big goal. Let me see what I owe you guys. I know you guys have been renewing and doing stuff while I was watching that reaction, and I appreciate that. Was coming. Sorry, double audio. Let's pop my chat out here. Go down here like this, and I'm gonna add some of you guys to the total. If you want that Friday stream with Madam, we got a bit of a ways to go here, and I've got some people to thank. Insomniac Black renews and gets us to 145. He says, pack it up, boys. We'll never get another kill zone. Good morning and great to see you, Lono. Finally got to catch a full stream. Work grind never stops. A $5 super chat also from Insomniac Black says, incoming. There'll be 16 million videos made about how this game is woke because there's a fat lady in it. And they want to smash a goth girl. Yeah, anybody calling this woke, that's just getting so tiring. There's been plenty of games where you have like a big, giant sort of heavy-set person who also is kind of like Viking-ish and thrashing through. She also kind of had her thangs out and thanging. Like, I don't feel like they're doing the woke thing. Like, there was a whole lot of booba in this that, you know, that's not really PlayStation's vibe for their own property a lot of the times. And then the rest of the characters I thought looked very, very cool. Anybody making that claim I think is a little silly. I'm sure they'll take screenshots of just her, though, and nobody else. Pac-Man on a bike with 38 months and a VIP says, I'm hoping the hero part is just because it's early and we'll be able to create and customize our characters. Ashen with 53 months gets us to 147. Lono, it's cold. Send coffee. A €5 super chat from John Always says, the art style is probably appealing to those who played Horizon Lego and a few years older when it releases. It could be a regional thing as well. It could be a regional thing, like the live service Monhun Asian market could respond strongly to that art style, especially because the cinematics look a whole lot like an anime style thing that you might find on like Netflix. And we've seen some of those cartoons blow up, like K-pop Demon Hunters, and then the Cyberpunk show, and then what was the other one that was like based off of League, I think. A $10 super chat from Street Shadow says, sorry, chat, I'm a hardcore PlayStation as it comes. Killzone's not coming back, at least not soon. It never made the money or gained the audience to justify bringing it back. I appreciate that so much. Thanks for the DM, Nick. I appreciate it. Yeah, I saw that already. Yeah, no, we ain't getting a Killzone, boys. We ain't getting a Killzone. We ain't getting no Killzone. Yeah. I totally understand. I'm big boned. Am I woke? Yes. If you're heavy set, you're woke. I didn't know you realized that. Monhun cringe. Listen, if you don't like Monhun, I get it. If you feel like this is a bad move for the IP of Horizon, I totally get it. I totally understand why people might be disappointed. Keep in mind, they're still doing single-player Horizon. This is a completely separate team and completely separate thing. So it's not necessarily going to be like pulling from, your next Horizon game. I also think they're doing the thing that we've continued to say they need to do with a game like this, right? They're doing a beta. They're doing early access. They're allowing people, to play it early. I think that's a very, very smart choice. I really hope the fall time for Turok stays. Yeah, the Turok game that they showed during the Nintendo Direct, said fall of 2026. That's a tough time. That's a really, really tough time for a game to come out right now, because if you get anywhere near that GTA 6... that GTA 6, boys, you got to watch out for that one. That one's tough. Those of you tuning in, if you clicked on this for GTA 6, I didn't even get to go through my opening script for GTA 6. I did an upload that was basically already kind of walking through that. I suppose I could do that now. Aloy had a cameo. They gave Aloy a cameo just to set up the fact that she's like having that homie set up like a base, basically. Yeah. So... lesbian pink hair. I didn't know that lesbians owned colors. Anti-woke people are such boring people. Yeah, I don't understand why anybody would think that. I mean, I've watched plenty of like games and characters over the years, like what's her face from Overwatch. There's the character literally in Overwatch. Yeah, Zarya. Like I don't know. Did anybody get really upset about this muscle mommy? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think people need to chill the frick out. Like, it's like Jiminy Christmas. You can have characters that don't all look the same. That's kind of the point. Well, no, at the GDC, I went to a talk about why art styles like this make it easier to put out new recurring content. What did they explain why? Like, what is it about the art style that makes it easier for them to do recurring content? Because it keeps showing up in live service games, and I think that's something that Horizon needs to consider. Right? I'm anti-woke. This did not have wokeness in it. That's what I'm saying, heck. Sometimes you're just going to have a big old mommy in your game. That don't mean nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? She was not what I would consider in that category, right? They also had her in a pretty revealing shirt for her size. I was like, all right. Yo, and a single gift that comes in from Joker Quinn. If you call everything woke, then nothing's woke. I played Deathlock last night. Wow, the new Valve game is tons of fun. Insomniac says, I can understand the anti-woke sentiment, but eventually it gets to a point where the word gets overused. That's the second I hear anybody say the word woke, I immediately want to turn the video off. Well, and the interesting thing, too, is it's like in a game like that, it's totally normal for all the characters to look unique and distinct. That doesn't mean they're trying to do the whole, like, we have an Asian person and a black guy and somebody in a wheelchair. Like, I get it when you're trying to do, like, the obnoxious diversity that's, like, super see-through. I didn't get that vibe from that trailer at all. It was like, yeah, these are just a bunch of different-looking characters / heroes. That's what they look like to me. Godslayer with a Prime. Thanks for using your Prime over there on Purple. We're one away from me owing you guys a member. Creature says, I find men who have an issue with... gay women the oddest of everyone who has a problem with anyone, like, of all the things. Right. Are you going to cover the new Crimson Desert footage showing combat and progression? Game's looking so good. It's another PC footage trailer put on the PlayStation channel, so we could look at it later for sure. That's not what we're talking about at the current moment, but we could definitely look at that later. It is, however, another piece of footage that is PC footage, which is frustrating because the game allegedly went gold, and we still have yet to see. Sorry. I got a text, and I'm getting updates from my wife as well. She's like scheduling appointments for the kiddos. They're at the orthodontist. Well, no, not at the orthodontist right now. They've already left, but I'm getting the updates about their next appointments. Guys, if you haven't hit the like button, man, hit that like button. I'm right there with you, Hex. I'm good on this. Have fun in Highguard too. I don't think it looked like a high guard kind of a game. To me, it looked like a Monster Hunter game. It looks like if you look past the art style, which again, I fully agree with people that are taking issue with the art style. I thought the cinematics looked cool, but then the gameplay, I was like, this looks like so many other games right now. You guys are going to have to refine this if you want this to stand out. I found another YouTuber who uses the phrase bread his butter. Are you serious? That's funny. Bread my butter, funny enough, says check my last, says... Lono, I don't think people realize how big Monhun is in Japan. I think this will do really well there. Yeah, you guys have to consider, and I said that. I said, listen, this could be really, really appealing to like the Monhun Asian market, especially since it's landing on PS5 and PC. This could be, again, another effort by PlayStation to grow in a market that they currently are weaker in than other markets. PlayStation's stronger in Europe than in America than they are in Japan. You know, their push with handheld, their push with the new, there's going to be like a better version of the Portal. There's going to be like a genuine handheld, all that. I think they're trying to land stronger in the Asian market than they have traditionally. We also know their efforts in China. I think PlayStation is looking at multiple options, and I think sometimes we look at something like this and we're like, well, that looks stupid. I'm not going to play it. And I was like, that's fine. You don't have to. They're working on a single-player Horizon. They're not abandoning the tenets of the company or what they want to do. They literally said that in the video. They wanted people to know, like, we are definitely not abandoning our single-player roots or our single-player, games. If this game explodes in another market and does really, really well, I think that's good for the franchise. That makes the franchise very strong, stronger than it already is. So... the more anime look will appeal more to the E, says B&E. Definitely Monhun vibes. I'm down to play it, says Biggie Smalls. The Asian market is the current push. That's what it feels like to me, Kenshiro. I feel like there's definitely some games, some relationships, and some partnerships right now that just don't make sense to, like, European and American folks. They're like, what the frick is this? Like, they want the more, like, Western-style content and art style and games. I think you're going to continue to get that. I think they're looking... into different markets and different communities. Worth it? Who knows? I mean, it's not the main game or the main team or the main offering. It's an extra thing that they're doing. They're also working on an MMO within the Horizon world. So no resistance and Turok is third person. I can't win. No. Did you see Godslayer? You can play Turok in first person. They showed that, and the guns actually looked really sick. The guns looked dope. And you can totally play the game in first-person perspective. A lot of Horizons fans are going to love that style. That's the other thing people need to consider for a game. And this is a strategy I've talked about with live service. If you're going to do a live service game, having an existing IP is a huge advantage because you already have tons of people who might take an interest. Then they're doing early testing and early feedback. That's what I've always said you need to do. I said you need to do early access. You need to let people play the game. You need to get feedback very early on. Great strategy. And they're letting us see a bunch of the game. They're not keeping the game a secret. Like, they're not, like, hiding it from the public. I think those are three really, really good pieces of a recipe that could lead to a successful game. It doesn't have to appeal to you. If it's successful and makes a bunch of money and helps the franchise and helps Guerrilla, I would say... that's a win, even if you don't play it. You guys know that I'm saying this as somebody who probably wouldn't play that game for very long. I would probably play through the campaign with Madam and then hang it up. I don't really play Monhun style games. So I'm sitting here saying, as somebody who doesn't necessarily find most of the aspects of the game appealing, I'm like, this could be a win for Guerrilla and the Horizon franchise, even if I don't spend a ton of time in the game. This would be a perfect Switch 2 release. I mean, maybe. It looked pretty demanding. There was a lot going on. Eugene says the fan base is incredibly diverse. Shockingly, they are not releasing Horizon Hunter's Gathering on the Switch 2, even though it's a live service game. It could get ported later. They'd have to figure out how to get some of the bombast, the explosions, and all that stuff going on to not, make your Switch 2 sputter and smoke. You know what I mean? So... if you guys are watching right now on YouTube, take a quick second and hit the like button. This is our second stream of the day. We did the Nintendo Direct already, and we're about a half an hour into this show. There's plenty to talk about. The breaking news was we covered Horizon Hunter's Gathering. We just covered that and reacted to it. I actually threw my reaction in a folder for Creature. We could probably swap the order of that video. I read through the blog before I reacted to the video. We could probably just like completely remove the blog read or put it at the end. In any case, that's kind of the breaking story right now. We're kind of debating whether or not it has the potential to do well, or, you know, for people to want to play it. Is the art style, you know, an issue? How would you grade the Direct by Nintendo? What are people voting here? I'd give it a B. Oh, wow, people didn't like it. I think people are probably voting down how they feel like it went, mainly because they feel that they're waiting for the mainline Nintendo games and they don't understand what a partner direct is. Like, a partner direct is not going to be mainline Nintendo games. That's just kind of the way that it goes. Like, you know what I'm saying, boys? Let's see here. What are y'all saying in the chat? Corey says Fortnite's the most successful live service game in history, and it got there without the support of the adult males of the internet community. They'll be fine without you. It's not a slight, just an appeal to a different audience. It also could, again, it could be an appeal to people that really, really like Monhun and anime, and, you know, they're in an Asian culture where that art style and that gameplay is super popular, you know? I'm 100% waiting for a new Mario announcement. Yeah, new mainline Mario, new mainline Zelda. I'm waiting as well. Probably not until summer would be my guess. Probably not until the summer. I think it's the best we've had for some time. Last two especially. The last one was pretty rubbish. Yeah, I thought the Nintendo Direct was perfectly fine. I mean, it's what they said it was going to be. It was a partner Direct. I'm not sure what people were expecting beyond that. And we had a great turnout. I appreciate you guys supporting that. Last couple times we tried to cover Nintendo, it hasn't gone too well. And it's a bright day for gaming, but not a bright day for my daughter. Let's see them. There they are. Oh, they put an Well, you look super cute. I know braces are a bummer, but I think you look cute. I can't get out of the chair. We're right in the thick of it. Oh, no. Rubber bands.
No, one.
Oh, one.
I got a bag.
Cool. I want to hear all about it later. You look cute. You look older.
What about me?
You look cute too, Mama. You don't look older. You look younger somehow. I don't understand how that's possible. Tough day for the kiddos, man. Orthodontist visits are they're never fun. You're literally you're paying for torture. You know what I'm saying? It's like, here's money, now torture my mouth, please. Like, make my teeth hurt, make my jaw hurt. Anyway. No headgear, She already had that. That was a while ago. And she only had to do that at night. So anyway, y'all, hit the like button. Gift the members, upgrade your memberships, renew your memberships, do all the things. Hit that $. You might have a membership to celebrate, right? You think Sony lost the exclusivity deal for Final Fantasy VII Part 3? I don't know. I mean, it could be timed. I don't know if they probably care all that much about. Well, they probably do. Yeah, they probably do care about that if they lost it. I don't know why they would lose it, though. Well, no, I could tell you why they would lose it. Square seemed to think that their saturation had to do with limiting reach of the games. So, I mean, all the more power and luck to them if they want to do multi-plat releases of their games. You know what I mean? Like, all the more power to them. They indicate that on an earnings call recently that they were looking into doing multi-plat. They were going to move away from doing exclusivity. So, I don't think that's PlayStation's fault. I think it's their fault. I think they went back to the Final Fantasy well too many times, and they're going to learn that. I think they're going to learn a real valuable lesson in, you know, going from a remake to a rebirth was probably really, really confusing to the market at large, and if it probably hurt sales and saturation, you know. Nate the Hate says that it's day one on all platforms. Yeah, I'm remembering now that earnings call that they had where Square basically made it pretty clear they weren't pleased with performance, and I think they were kind of blaming it being on one platform, and it's like, okay, that's a theory. There's another theory that I have that you guys just went Final Fantasy, and everyone was like, okay, enough is enough, and it probably hurt your saturation. You created Final Fantasy fatigue. Say that 3 times fast. So let them. I'm not a big Final Fantasy guy, so I don't have a dog in the fight, like, even remotely. So yeah, what's next? Yeah, Reunion. What is this, Paul? What is this? IGN 2 months ago, Horizon Steel Frontiers official gameplay footage. This is the MMORPG that NCSoft is working on. Does this do everything better? Well, it's an MMO, so you got to understand, and this is actually a good question that Paul's asking, I think, in light of what we just saw. Like, this is the MMO that NCSoft is working on, and this looks like Horizon. This does not look like I'm playing, a cartoon or anything else, okay? I would say this is going to appeal to a very different subset of the market, because this is going to be grindy. This is going to be MMO. This is going to be... I think there's a market for the casual man's live service game. The game you can play casually and not have to basically become a part-time job. And I think MMOs are a harder sell. So I think the strategy here is to hit 2 very, very different demographics of players. Like, this to me, especially, like, look how long they're in there, and look, they're dodging. It even has, like, it's almost like Monhun meets JRPG meets MMO. So I do think this for fans of Horizon that don't want the art style to go away, this will probably be more appealing to you, right? I also think this looks a little bit more hardcore grind, a little bit more MMO. The other game looks more like kind of like an ongoing, live service, sort of more casual game. It's almost looks more Dauntless adjacent, like if you guys remember Dauntless. And this does not look like that. So this game is a completely different project with the Horizon IP. What I think they're trying to do, and this could actually be a risk, I mean, there's always the risk, like we just talked about with Final Fantasy. You can kind of oversaturate the market with your IP, and people will get fatigued by it. And they'll be like, Jiminy Christmas, there's a Horizon game for everything. What's next? A Horizon deck builder? I mean, so you could certainly see this maybe somewhat backfiring on them, because there's the people that, like, want to play. This is also going to be playable on mobile and PC, and it's only going to be playable on PC via the Purple app. So that's another thing to remember. This is basically a mobile game, y'all. Like, this is a mobile game that you can play on PC through a mobile launcher. This is not, as far as we know, this is not going to be available on Steam and Epic. Oddly enough, I don't know if this is even going to be on PlayStation. We'll have to wait and see. I think that'd be some weird optics and a weird choice with the IP. But that's also something to consider, is that, like, this is also appealing to a market that many of us don't really find ourselves in, which maybe this is an opportunity for them to try to grow the Horizon franchise in China. We know they're really, really trying to grow in China, and a mobile game with the Horizon IP could do incredibly well in China, right? Through what app? The Purple app, literally the color purple. That's the name of the app that you can play that game on. It's basically a mobile launcher for your PC. That's basically what it is. So, to me, I think PlayStation's looking at the Horizon franchise as something that they can leverage in a variety of ways. The next mainline Horizon game they know will sell incredibly well, because between Zero Dawn and Forbidden West, they've sold like 40 million copies. So your mainline, Angry Pete somebody finally does it, 150. We sat on 149 for a really long time. I owe you guys a member. We are really behind on the member count this week. That's on me. I took yesterday off. We're going to have to try to bounce back here to unlock the Saturday stream with Madam. You're going to need to kick it into high gear and call the big boys from on high to boost the numbers, boys. So I think they're leveraging the Horizon IP in a variety of ways. Like, they know the next mainline Horizon single-player game will do incredibly well. It's got a massive player base. Then they can launch a mobile MMO that could potentially do very well in China. Then they can launch this ongoing live service, Horizon Hunters Gathering, where, maybe it does better in Japan and Korea in the Asian market than it does over here, because it's got kind of an anime style. It's got kind of a Monhun vibe. It seems a little bit more casual. I think that's what they're doing. Is the goal 400 now? Oh, are we going to... I mean, I guess we can lower it since I took a day away from you. That's probably fair. Rockin' Robin's going to push the line right there. Did my super chat go through? Oh, I'm so sorry. Neo Reaper with a $5 super chat says, do you think that Horizon Hunters Gathering is why Sony went hard at Light of Motiram? I think they went hard at Light of Motiram for two reasons. Steel Frontiers, which is the MMO from Horizon, and Hunter's Gathering, I think Light of Motiram was far too similar, and they're like, you can't be in the market with that. You're literally making something that we're working on right now. You're making a product that we're making right now. And I think what killed Light of Motiram was the paper trail. When you have a paper trail of a game that they basically came to PlayStation twice and said, we would like to make this Horizon game, and PlayStation says no twice, you're done. You're done. They're like, get out of here. You can't. You used our IP to make a game without our permission. You were told no twice and went ahead and made the game anyway. I think as soon as that paper trail came to light, Light of Motiram was freaking cooked. There was no way it was going to see the light of day unless it goes through major artistic revision, which it likely will. They probably still have the guts of a game that they want to release. If you guys haven't hit the like button yet, hit the like button. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, hit subscribe. We're talking about all the latest in gaming news, and the thing that broke this morning is a brand new game from PlayStation called Horizon Hunters Gathering, and we reacted to the gameplay. It's funny, the mobile game looks like a PC and a console game, and the new game looks like just another mobile, how the times have changed. That is interesting as an observation, Chrono Shot, that like the game, the MMO that's being designed for mobile looks like the console and the PC game, and then the console and the PC game looks like a stinking mobile game. You're kind of right about that. That's interesting that they kind of swap the art styles as it were. You know what I'm saying? So far not announced on PS5, odd choice. Yeah, for the Horizon MMO, it's only been announced for mobile. It's truly, the Horizon MMO has only been announced for mobile. Because being able to play it through the Purple app on your PC, that's a launcher for mobile games. That's not, it's I don't think the Horizon MMO is going to be on Steam, which is a really interesting choice. It's a really interesting choice. I mean, maybe they see the Chinese market is bigger than PC. Maybe they see the Chinese mobile market, because it is fairly large. I mean, there are MMOs in the Chinese market that make more than like all games combined. So they could probably, maybe they see that as just a big chance to expose people to the Horizon franchise and the Horizon IP. You know, you can't do mobile game. I can't do it either. The Purple app also has PC games. Oh, it does. Okay. It's, as far as I can tell, the Horizon MMO is purely targeting mobile, though. The Purple app's like a mobile emulator, I'm guessing. It's basically a launcher, yes, that's allowing you to like launch a mobile game. Tricked him. Horizon Zero Frontier developer wants PlayStation released, but it's not something we can decide on our own. It appears that PlayStation, not NCSoft, is the reason for Horizon MMO skipping the PS5. I'm not surprised about that at all. As far as I can tell, listen, and Mr. Grimm with the gifted member, thank you so much as we work on a goal for the week. I appreciate you guys doing that and spreading the love. I don't think PlayStation wants their platform inundated with Horizon games. I don't think they want it. If you got a mainline Horizon game, you got Horizon Hunters Gathering, you got the Horizon Lego game, and you have a Horizon MMO, they probably know that the choices they're making, like NCSoft's player, like design choice, gameplay choice, grind choice, they're like, yeah, no, that's not, console gamers aren't going to get down with that. They're going to put that on mobile. It would be my assumption, is that they're thinking about the actual demographics that play those games. And they're thinking, listen, the game that you're going to build is going to do far better on mobile than it would on our console. We've got other games and other plans for our console user base. That'd be my assumption. Bungie did the same thing with Destiny Rising, right? Same thing Destiny did, yeah, probably third-party competition with first-party issues. I'm not sure what you mean by that. iPad works well for games. I play Balatro and Vampire Survivors. There's a big difference between Balatro and Vampire Survivors and the Horizon gameplay that we looked at for Horizon, for Steel Frontier. I wonder why more single-player games don't use anime-like engines. I mean, it could be because they want the game to have a distinct and unique art style, and I think that, is possible. Somebody was just saying they were at the GDC, and they said that one of the things that came out of the GDC is people like that art style because it enables them to add content in an easier way, which I think is interesting because you don't really need to do that with a single-player game, but you need to do that with with an ongoing game. If you're going to do an ongoing game, it needs to be agile. You 100% need to do that. Jor Raptor's reacting to this, and he says, I never thought I would be more excited for an NC-Soft Horizon game than a Horizon game from Guerrilla, the creators of the series. Yeah, Jor Raptor's already published his reaction. He says he's really disappointed. I get it. I totally do. I'm not going to sit here and defend the art style of Horizon Hunter's Gathering. I'm not going to do it. I think they've got work to do. I think it's okay to look more anime adjacent, to look a little bit more cell shaded, right? I think that's fine. I think they've got to carve out a little bit more style. It needs to be a little bit more stylized. I thought both Horizon games were just one game, an MMO. I didn't know two different games were coming. It was really confusing, Echo Doctrine, because the leaks about the MMO and the leaks about the co-op game, they came out around the same time. So people started to cross wires and they thought they were the same game. We almost did a video where I tried to explain it, but we just couldn't figure out a good way to do it and have it be informative and not a lot of speculation. Now would be a really easy job. It'd be really easy to basically be like, these are completely different games. These are completely different games. And we now have concrete gameplay information and official announcements to indicate that they are completely different games. Dustin Freeman from Last Stand Media reacting to the Horizon Hunter's Gathering. He says, I can already feel the endless complaining incoming. In my opinion, it looks pretty fun. I don't love the Fortnite look, but whatever. The only huge disappointment for me is the heroes. A character creator would have been awesome. I'm telling you, those are the two things they're going to hear a ton of feedback on. They're going to get a ton of feedback on the art style, and they're going to get a ton of feedback on the fact that you can't create your own character. I think people are going to bristle at that. They're going to be like, if I want to play your game ongoing, I don't want to come back in 3 months and be playing as some guy that you made. Like, I want to make the character. You want to have stories with the characters, that's fine, but I don't know. It might be too late. It might be too late. And also, it could be a market thing. Maybe when you go into other markets, maybe the Asian Monster Hunter market will be more receptive to like prefab heroes like that. Nioh Reaper gifts a member and gets us to 153. Well, America realized we aren't the target audience anymore. I think we're the target audience for a lot of games, FCat. What do you mean? That's an interesting thing to say. And another gift that comes from Nioh Reaper. Nioh Reaper's trying to set up the 20 bomb to 175. Whoever dunks that home, I will gift a member. I think that's an interesting thing to say, FCat. Like, Yotei outsold Call of Duty in America. Like, I think America is a very, very strong audience for PlayStation. That's a very weird take to have. And Nioh Reaper with another one gets us to 155 after the trailer. Oh, yeah, exactly, Insomniac. They're chomping at the bit to take screenshots and call it all sorts of bad names. For sure. Oh, for sure. That's coming. Eugene says, why do you assume America isn't the target audience? Yeah, I wonder. There could be a very large, European, American, like there could be a very large Western audience for a game like that. I don't know. I would not underestimate how there is the very, very real sense of games like that being more popular than you know. It's very possible. Yeah, there is a stigma around heroes, though, Hidden Siryu. I do think there's stigma around heroes. Excuse me. I do think there is a bit of a stigma. That could hurt the Horizon game. It could. Because they look like heroes that, put you adjacent to a lot of other games. It puts you adjacent to a lot of other games, and that's dangerous right now. We know that's dangerous. There are games right now that got almost immediately rejected because of their appearance. I think their appearance is all it took for people to say, hey, that looks lame, that looks boring, you know? Thank you so much for the 3 stream streak, Zach Quartz. It's PvE, though. That's in its corner, bread my butter, and I think that's what people are missing in the grand scheme. It's a PvE game. And what have I said? There's an awful lot of potential for PvE games. Look at the way people are playing Arc Raiders. They're playing it like a PvE game. Look at Helldivers 2. It's a PvE game. I don't know. There's room in the market. And if you nail it and people like it and your beta is successful and you get good feedback, it could be very successful. Planet of Lana, the sequel, is coming out on March the 5th. I don't know if you guys were aware of this. I was not aware that this was coming out. Children of the Leaf. So if you're a fan of the first game, that is close at hand. I didn't even know. I knew that Planet of Lana 2 got announced. I didn't know it had a release date that early in the year. Let's see here. I wish you could tweet videos the way that you can tweet videos on mobile. I wish you could do it on the browser, because I would like to give my thoughts here. 2 thoughts. All right. Art style could use revision. Some will feel it's too adjacent to other games. Heroes is a risky move. Folks may want to customize their own character. Yeah. Let's see. There we go. 2 thoughts. Art style could use revision. Some will feel it's too adjacent to other games, and not, quote, Horizon enough. Second, Heroes is a risky move. Folks may want to customize their own character. There we go. Thought you said Planet of Atlanta. No. I mean, we all know Atlanta is basically its own planet, but no, Planet of Lana. Planet of Lanta. Atlanta. Oh, brother. Shinobi just said on Reset Era that Starfield for the Nintendo Switch 2 might not happen at all. Shinobi says that's been pushed out and it might not even come out at all. Check out the Discord of the game and the reaction is positive. Well, I mean, I'm not trying to yuck anybody's yum or rain on your parade. Anybody willing to take the time to go into a Discord of a new game is probably going to be more positive than negative. That might be sort of like some selection bias, maybe. Am I using the right term? What's the term there? I'm not saying that there aren't people that are excited. I think there's people that'll be excited to play the Horizon game for sure. You know what I mean? But I don't know if I would use the Discord as evidence of anything, especially day one. We've been here before, and the people that jump in day one and pre-order and hit like on a trailer and jump into Discord are not necessarily strong pieces of evidence. You know? How dare you pronounce the second T in Atlanta? I don't think I say Atlanta. I think I say Atlanta. I think I roll right through it. It's a very if the T is there, it's awfully soft. You know what I mean? You know all about that, Omar. People who join the Discord probably are very interested, just like Marathon. I've tried to communicate that to people about Marathon, man. They keep getting up my nose on that one. They're like, brother, people are so much more positive about the game now. You're being dishonest. I'm like, I'm not being dishonest. What the, huh? Look at the trailers. Look at the gameplay. Look at the footage. There's way less people watching them. You know, you have people that were already interested who are happy with the changes. Great. That doesn't have anything to do That doesn't have anything to do with the reality of like what people are going to expect. No, I'm sorry, not what people are going to expect. That doesn't change the reality of the fact that like a lot of people probably moved on and don't care. Like, the interest in Marathon, I think, has dropped off. I think you're going to have a core audience. I think you're going to have decent numbers at start because it's Bungie. But I think the general public moved on. I think a lot of them are playing Arc Raiders. Did you see Mighty Keith's reaction? I saw his tweet. He seems to think good things about it, right? He tweeted, let me see here. He tweeted it last night, didn't he? Yeah, he said Marathon might be way bigger than we thought. Yeah, he tweeted that last night. I don't know, boys. I know they've made good changes. I know people feel better about it. I've not once tried to deny that. I've continued to say its biggest challenge is going to be having ongoing re-engagement. That's going to be its biggest challenge. Is having ongoing re-engagement. And I think a lot of people have moved on. I think that's going to be their bigger challenge, is that their videos and their marketing right now are not getting lots of views because I think lots of people just checked out last year. And I don't think they're like coming back to be like, what changes did you make? So I don't feel like I'm being a hater. I feel like I'm being very fair in that observation. I think this Horizon game can pull in younger gamers and also the Gen Alpha gamers. I can't see Marathon getting more than 40 to 50K concurrent after like a month. Yeah, I think they can. I think they're going to have a strong launch week and strong launch weekend. I think after that is when the true test begins. The true test of any live service game is, between day 30 and day 90. Like that's the true test. Marathon is odd. It has aggro hypers, and I just don't think it will actually do well. What does this even mean, says Sven? So, I've not heard the term, but I already know what he means. Aggressive hypers. Like, people that are hyping up the game, and they're being really aggressive if you're not on board. And I know exactly what he's talking about. There are folks that are like right in the mix on that game anytime you talk about it, and buddy, they are very much defending it. Blood, sweat, and tears. Interest is definitely going up for Marathon. That much is true. Apparently, there was a leak about it, a ranked mode, and people were intrigued about it. No. If you're going to establish that interest has gone up, you'd have to show a trajectory of interest going up. Views on their videos on their YouTube channel, wish lists on Steam, pre-order rankings. There's all evidence points to interest has dropped off. I've not seen a single piece of evidence that would tell me that interest is increasing for that game. I see evidence to the contrary. I really, really do. Like, if that's going to be the way you measure it, is like, oh, there was leaks about a ranked mode, which I was going to cover that today. It's in the description. I've got some info for you guys about it. I don't think that information leaking and people taking an interest is a sign that people's interest is going up. Again, I think there are people that were like already interested in the game, and they're pleased with where things are headed. Listen, if you're interested and you're excited about that game, I'm not trying to yuck your yum. I'm just trying to tell you, I don't know if there's going to be enough people to justify its existence in a year. The VidDocs have had way more positive reception. Okay, I have conceded that. I feel like you're not hearing what I'm saying. Maybe you came in late, so I'll restate it. I have acknowledged reception has improved and people like the changes. I'm not speaking to that. I'm speaking to interest level, volume, reach. I'm not speaking to reception. If you look at the views of the VidDoc, all trailers subsequently after, I believe interest is dropping off. I believe last year they screwed the pooch. I think they did such a bad job with their first impression. They drove lots of people to say, I don't want to play that game. I don't think I like it. I also think Bungie has become a bit radioactive. I don't think people like Bungie. And I think Arc Raiders gobbled up a bunch of people's attention. I think there's a handful of things that have led to that. That's been my contention. I've not once tried to say that, oh, they're not making good changes and that people are mad. No, reception is good and people are positive and people feel they've made good changes. I've conceded that point 10 times over. I'm talking about interest. reach, viewership, consumer inertia. It's not there. You need that for a live service game. If you go back and you look at Arc Raiders picked up momentum and inertia prior to coming out. Okay? Prior to coming out. There was a surge of interest. Their videos and trailers started to perform better. There was this swing up. I don't think you can demonstrate that with Marathon. That is a concern for longevity. That's a concern for longevity. 6 months from now, I don't think they'll have a player base that will justify the game's existence. I think they'll lose too many people. I think it'll do fine in the first week or weekend. But I'm here to tell you. Hang on. Somebody used the tip command. I think it was Mile High. It was. Thank you, Mile High, for the $20 tip. This is for your daughter. Let her know that braces aren't nearly as bad as it sometimes feels. She also has enough sass to deal with any name calling, and she will have a beautiful smile forever. A few short years. Yeah, I definitely agree. Thank you. I will let her know. She will greatly appreciate it. The boy also had some work done today, so I may make them split that. I'm not about to have World War in my home. So hang on. They're saying that the Nintendo video can't be monetized, so it must have processed. Nope, it didn't process. What the frick is in this video? I'm Out of My Mind instrumental by Loving Caliber. Yeah, I tell you, I can't erase the song until it processes. Man, screw you. I'm playing Marathon day one on my PS5 Pro. Listen, I hope you guys have a ball. I hope you have a ball with it. I hope you have fun. I hope it's a good time. I have always said I think that longevity is its biggest challenge. We'll see. Helldivers did not have any motion before it came out. Didn't blow up until week 2 or something. That is an absolutely fair point to make. That's totally fair. There was a reverse sales curve for Helldivers 2. That almost never happens. So, Maji says, not going to lie, you're right about this. Video numbers are down, but comments are generally more positive than before. Props to Bungie for new changes, but it makes me think, should Marathon be free to play at this point? I apologize if you went over this already. No, you don't need to apologize. Listen, I don't know if free to play would work. I think that free to play is actually becoming less inviting, which is interesting to say. But I do think free to play creates a notion of this is just another free to play slop live service game. $40 can actually psychologically create and foster value as a proposition. It totally can. So I think it's a dilemma right now, because that the expectation is free to play, but then when you win the crowd and you win the public's approval, guess what? You can charge money. Arc Raiders did it, and so did Helldivers. A $5 super chat from Neo Reaper. Forced resets are going to drive a lot of players away. Even Escape from Tarkov is transitioning away from mandatory universal wipes. I think that's just one more piece of evidence that Bungie doesn't know what they're doing, and they're going to learn those hard lessons at the wrong time. You can't learn those hard lessons as in the early days of your game coming out, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to learn very, very hard lessons. Oh yeah, we're going to force wipes, and people are going to be like, "That's stupid. Don't do that." It was like when they were like, it was kind of like when they were like, "Yeah, we're not going to do proximity chat," and people were like, "That's stupid. You need prox chat in a game like this," and then they eventually gave in. Here's the problem. When you don't know what you're doing and the community has to keep telling you the basics, that's a bad sign. You can give them all the props in the world. They delayed, they listened to feedback. Homies, they're getting feedback that doesn't seem like they should need to get it. It seems like they should know these things. They should know these things instinctively, and if they don't know these things instinctively, then that's going to make the game struggle. If you've got to tell them some of this stuff, yeah, if you force resets, okay, good luck with that. You're gonna drive away anybody who's not hardcore. You don't even play extraction games. You play Arc for PvE. Okay. Are you making a point or are you arguing for my side? It sounds like you're arguing for my side. I've continually said that when you give inroads for people to play in a PvE way, it can be very, very good for your game, as evidenced by Arc Raiders' popularity, aggression-based matchmaking, and the overwhelming feedback from players that they're enjoying playing the game in a PvE way. I feel like you're arguing for my side of things. Listen, if you make a game that only appeals to people who love extraction and hate PvE, I say good luck to you. I think that's been my concern from the beginning, is that that's a very hardcore approach. That's a very niche offering. You're going to struggle with re-engagement and player base numbers. I think that's what you're going to run into. You can take shots at me all you want. That doesn't change what I'm saying. You can be like, yeah, you're weak, lack of skill, you don't like PvP. Okay, well, when you're done doing that, I want you to think about what that means for the ongoing player base numbers. Sounds like Arc is for you and Marathon isn't clearly... There it is. Clearly can't PvP. There it is. The invoke my skill in PvP. That's superfluous to the discussion, homie. I readily admit that I'm not a strong PvP player. I'm not a high skill player. So you're telling me... You might as well tell me that I'm white, brother. I know. Like, I'm well aware of where I stand in the realm of skill in these games. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about if you want a live service game to be successful, you want a lot of folks coming in and having a good time, they're setting up the game to struggle in that regard. This has nothing to do with my skill or preference. You're making it about me. That's called ad hominem. Instead of engaging with the argument, you're talking about me. If that's the game they're making, then their expectations for player base size, ETC, is probably in line with that. Here's why I don't think so, Eugene. We have it on very good authority that they were ignoring internal feedback from Bungie employees that said you're going to need PvE elements, and that those people were dismissed because they weren't the OGs. I think this game is not considering the fact that your name, Bungie, and being like from the makers of Destiny and Halo isn't enough to get a ton of people in your game. I think hubris is at play. Why are you implying that Bungie doesn't know what they're doing when you don't understand the genre? Apparently, they don't understand the genre either, homie. They trotted out an alpha last year, and virtually every single person that plays extraction shooters was talking about the complete lack of features, functionality, and vision for an extraction shooter. For somebody who doesn't play extraction shooters, I observed and watched long-standing extraction fans eviscerate Marathon, and then the game got delayed and had to implement all that feedback. Does that demonstrate to you that they know what they're doing, or does it demonstrate that they don't know what they're doing? See, you're making it about me, and you're not even engaging with the argument, because you can't engage with the argument, because what I just said, I think, is pretty solid. I think that's pretty airtight, if you ask me. If they knew what they were doing, then why didn't they walk out with a robust, well-built extraction shooter last year? They walked out with an alpha, had a bunch of things lacking from the game that extraction fans were like, you don't have this? You don't have this? What? Are you familiar with the term alpha? Homie, the game was supposed to launch last year. Are you familiar with what a presentation and a showcase is supposed to be? It's not supposed to be an alpha. They walked out with an alpha and were encouraging people about the release date. Talk about pre-orders. What are you talking about? You can't rewrite history. You have it backwards, says Zubair. If Lono is correcting you on what an extraction shooter should be, then you know you effed up. That's exactly right. My limited understanding of what makes an extraction shooter appealing, Bungie was missing foundational features just last year when they walked out super cocky and they thought they had a game ready to go, and they got their freaking mouth smacked and they had to delay the game. And yet you think they know what they're doing? What are you even talking about? There's so much more evidence that they don't know what they're doing. They're stepping into a landscape that they're unfamiliar with. It's been delayed and now it's been improved. Okay. Yes. It's also Thursday, February the 5th. We're just stating obvious things. Arc Raiders players are already saying Marathon has some good ideas. I'd love something like this in Arc Raiders. No, I don't agree at all. I don't agree at all. If you start doing ranked competitive elements in Marathon, number one, Arc said they're not going to do that. Number two, Arc Raiders is crushing it literally because it's not doing that. I completely disagree. If you start taking ideas from Marathon and make it competitive and make it ranked and all of that, I agree with Ninja. When Ninja said, don't ever put that in this game. Don't ever make this game competitive. Don't ever do any ranked anything. Don't do it. Arc Raiders is being successful for everything I talked about before it came out. I said, if you want to have a successful live service game, you got to have inroads for casuals. You got to have inroads for mid-lane players. And what do? They made wipes optional. They did aggression-based matchmaking. You can completely avoid PvP for the most part. And they absolutely did not build a competitive game. These are Arc Raiders accounts that play the game daily. I don't care. That's anecdotal. They have spoken to the fact that they're not going to do that. I think their player base numbers speak louder than people on Twitter. I'm sorry, Zinthos. I think their player base numbers speak so much louder than people on Twitter. People on Twitter can beg for PvP and they can beg for this, that, and the third. The people on Twitter are also the people who watched a PvP war. They're also people who watch PvP streamers every day. They're also people who sweat and betray and play like rats. We see the clips, right? I'm here to tell you the vast majority of people in Arc Raiders are not playing that way, and they don't want the game to become sweaty. They don't want the game to become competitive. Arc already knows this. Embark already knows this. Listen to the way they talk about their game. They're not going to do that. They're not going to implement those things. I'll bet you cash money they don't do anything like that because they know that brings a whole air to the game that's destructive. Fortnite's never done it for the same reason. You don't want that in your game. It'll drive people away. $2 from Mike DZ. They dropped another Crimson Desert gameplay video. It's all PC gameplay, so I don't care. Winged Wheel comes in and gifts a member. Thanks so much. I'm not being dismissive to you, Mike DZ. They keep putting PC gameplay on the PlayStation channel for a game that allegedly went gold. I'm over it. Until the game comes out, I don't care. Unless you're going to show me raw gameplay on the PlayStation, I'm skeptical until I got my hands on that game. Because their marketing to me it reeks of something fishy. It reeks of something fishy. That game went gold, and you can't show me PlayStation footage. Okay. Game comes out in like 5 weeks. Sure. I don't know. I have the same problem with Arc that I do with Finals. 5 guns and no end game. That's fine. I mean, I think if you have your own preferences and your own desires and your own wants, maybe Marathon's going to scratch that itch for you because there's going to be some type of an end game and some type of almost like raid-like dungeon content. I'm here to tell you the way they're building Marathon, the way they're positioning it, the way they're setting it up, it's not going to appeal to a large player base. It's going to be a niche. And I don't know if Bungie can live off of a very small niche core audience. I don't know if they can do that. I don't know if they can justify, as I've said, I don't know if the game's existence can be justified by a very small player base. This is Bungie we're talking about, not some little scrappy AA studio. You know? You got PlayStation in the room. PlayStation wants live service games, no doubt. No doubt about it. PlayStation wants live service games. They want successful live service games, not middling, limping along live service games. And I don't know if Marathon's going to have what it takes to go the distance with the player pool. Tarkov has more players than Ark. Wait, did you type that so everybody could have a good laugh? Are we supposed to laugh at that? Why would you type that? Tarkov has more players than Ark? Are you feeling okay? Like, what? What? No? No, it does not? What? Why did you say that? Yeah, I just want to be a part of the conversation. Give me some attention, Lono. Jiminy Christmas. If Marathon has a great launch and does well, will you continue to trash it or move on? Where have I trashed it? Quote me where I've trashed it. Give me a clip where I've trashed Marathon. If you can't do it, then retract what you said, because I have not trashed the game at all. You seem upset that I'm being concerned or skeptical or making observations about an ongoing player base. If that's trashing the game, you're probably just too sensitive to hang out here, because that's pretty meager. The Steam numbers on Tarkov are a fraction of the actual base. You cannot possibly believe that Tarkov is even close to Arc Raiders player numbers. You can't possibly think that. Nobody can think that genuinely. Have you looked at the numbers and the sales and the concurrent numbers for Arc Raiders? There's no chance. There is no chance. I doubt it has more players, but we don't know. You can play Tarkov through the official Battlestate Games website or Steam. Okay, I was just making sure there was no other places. Wait, can you play through the Epic Games Store? It is available on the Epic Games Store. Okay. Homie, there's no way. It's not even available on the consoles. Like, there's no freaking way. Tarkov's been out for a decade. I can believe that Tarkov has had more total players over its lifetime than Ark. Ark Raiders has achieved 15 million in total lifetime sales across Steam, PlayStation 5, and the Series X, according to estimates. Okay, so 15. Let's say that's a high estimate, 10 to 15. Homie, there ain't no way they've had 10 million people download Tarkov over 10 years. That's averaging 1 million people a year. Jiminy Christmas, there's no way. When are we getting a significant update from Ark? I don't know. You'd have to ask them. I'm not. I don't work for the company. I don't know. I don't think they've said, but there's a new trailer for the online Horizon game. That's correct. We watched it and reacted to it already this stream. I think that they're going to have to consider revising the art style. I think they're going to have to consider revising the art style. It doesn't look Horizon enough to me. I also think they're going to have to work about, consider letting people make their own hero, making their own character. Red Rider says he's one of the folks you talked about earlier. Going to defend the game, and it's not even out yet. Yeah, to say that I've trashed... It's always interesting to me when we have these discussions and someone comes in that I don't recognize your name at all, and you'll make a claim that I've trashed a game. Okay. Sure. And then when I ask you to show me quotes or clips where I've trashed the game, I get nothing but silence. That's always impressive to me, how quickly people go quiet. Ark Raider player count is dropping by the week. Ark's around 168,000 now, and it's trending downwards. Players getting annoyed with the direction to PvE. I've not seen that anywhere. I've seen people that are frustrated with exploits and cheating. I've not seen anywhere reports of players bailing because of the PvE focus. That would make zero sense, as the game has primarily been a PvE focus since the beginning. They did interviews on Twitch before the game even came out, and were like, yeah, the focus of the game is not PvP. I don't understand. Okay. Tarkov bragged in December of last year that they had sold 1 million plus copies since the 1.0 release. So when someone said that Tarkov had more players than Ark Raiders, homies, you are literally talking about a hiking trail versus a mountain. These are not the same in size and scope. Tarkov isn't anywhere close. That 1 million sales milestone is from Tarkov's own website. They're bragging about 1 million total sales. Ark Raiders is 10 times that or more. They're not in the same universe, boys. I was like, what are we even talking about? There's no chance they have more now. I don't think over the 10 years that game has been out that they have garnered over 10 million unique players. I have a very hard time believing that. Yeah, Sony says they're very confident about Marathon. Okay, they're really putting some words in their mouths. They said, this is the quote. As for Marathon, it had user tests, and then from the users had feedback for Marathon in the game. So what was the good points and not good points? So that kind of feedback we had taken into consideration and have modified. So this time around, after the modification, we are very confident to release it on March the 5th. Okay? Listen, I don't know about y'all. I don't know about y'all, but I wouldn't start throwing confetti in the air just yet. That is a very very basic statement to shareholders, boys. I'm just going to tell you, I'd settle down just a teeny bit. That was like, we've made some changes, and therefore we are very confident to release the game on March the 5th. You're confident enough to release it. All right. Okay. Listen, boys, if it's massively successful, then go. I was not armed at my keyboard with response or proof. Your overall attitudes towards Marathon has been and always stayed negative. It reeks of Bungie resentment. That's all. I'll tell you what. If you can't provide evidence of a claim like that, and then you're going to invoke Bungie resentment, I have no desire for you to be here or to get a gifted member. I've decided that you're not allowed to hang out here because you're trying to invoke a history and trigger me, which isn't going to work. That means that you don't come here in good faith. I'm not bothered by what you said. I think the evidence is overwhelming that I've been more than charitable to Bungie over the years. I've defended them in certain instances. I've talked about why I think it's good to have them and Destiny in the market. You invoking that tells me that you're not here in good faith, therefore can't be trusted. Therefore, I don't want anybody's money going to you getting a membership. So that's the end of your time here. Anybody that invokes that, you're not welcome here because I think you're here with bad intentions. You're not here to be a member of the community or to have a good conversation. You're attempting to invoke something that has nothing to do with the conversation. And when you get caught out having zero evidence or quotes, you resort to that. So, congratulations. You got my attention and you'll never get it again. Herman Hull said that the earnings call a while ago that Marathon could still be canceled. They absolutely had no confidence in Bungie. That was a veiled threat. Well, I mean, generally speaking, I would think that if you're going to be taking a game like this to the market and it gets really, really negative reception, you've got to acknowledge that in the earnings call. You got to acknowledge that in the earnings call. You can't just act like everything's swell and good. So yeah, they were like, that was a bad look, dude. That was a bad look. You got to think about the history of Bungie at that point. Pete Parsons did a blog talking about how he drove the company into the red, how people were being laid off because of that, how they were in not a great spot. Okay? And what they do is they go out and they walk out and they see, hey, I tell you what, here's our next big thing. And it was an alpha. It was a game that wasn't ready for public consumption or observation. And then they go and they do the thing so people can stream it. And then the reception's terrible. So the trajectory there was awful. It's like confidence in Bungie was at an all-time low. They're losing revenue. They don't have enough revenue of interest in Destiny. They're basically losing that sense of momentum. And it's like, okay, that momentum could pick up with Marathon. And instead, they come out with their Marathon showcase, and it was like, this is not even a game that's ready for people to look at. That had to be concerning. That had to be concerning for Sony to think that you guys are in such a bad state that even your brand new game can't get good reception. Destiny's losing its own momentum as well. I think that's 100% a concern that Sony had. They can, though, sort of. They just say it with the numbers. Units sold versus estimated sales versus future. I'm not sure what you're responding to. I can't wait for Marathon to come out so we can just look at the numbers instead of arguing feelings. D2 had a good run. Let the game die already. I think generally that they need to move on from Destiny 2, yes. I've said for a very, very long time, they're too big to live off of Destiny's revenue anymore. They need to enter into a publishing deal with PlayStation, cease all production of Destiny 2 content, and start working on Destiny 3 and really build it from the ground up to work the way that they've always wanted Destiny to work. I've said this for a while. I think they're too large of a company. You can't have somewhere around 800 to 900 employees and live off of where Destiny 2 is right now. You certainly can't live off of Marathon because I think its limited reach is just not going to generate enough revenue. Because again, Bungie is huge. Bungie is absolutely huge. Your comment on saying reviews or player feedback is bad. They don't have to say it explicitly, but to end up saying it through the numbers. I still am not sure what you're referring to. I really am. I'm not sure what you're referring to. I just don't think leadership has a coherent enough vision to pull off a successful D3, says Light Leap. Well, Leap, we know that Parsons is no longer there, okay? We know that Parsons is no longer there. I would not be surprised if in the coming months we see more leadership walk out the door. I think Sony has walked in the room, and I think they're restructuring the company. Right? I think they're restructuring the company. I think that you're correct. I think you need new leadership. You need to get some of these people completely out of the building. I think they're toxically positive. I think they're allergic to feedback. They think they can do no wrong. Like, I think you got to get those people out of the building. If they have any hope of the company getting into a better place, you need new leadership. I think Sony of all companies know how important it is for playtesting. Sony had been really good at that. The Metacritic scores have proven that. With their single-player games. Right, but did they understand playtesting when they dropped Concord? Did they understand playtesting when they had Bungie primed to launch Marathon last year, brother? No, Luke Smith is not back. That's been debunked. That has been debunked by... There is someone at Forbes who quite literally can like pick up the phone and talk to people at Bungie, and he's like, Luke Smith is not back. He is not back. So, Destiny should pull an Overwatch and just drop the number. Yeah, I saw Tom Warren tell them that. I don't know if that would... I think you would have to do that with a new release, not the current release. A $2 super chat from Forget Me Not says, do you think Horizon is for fans or new players? HHG. The Horizon Hunter's Gathering. That's right. HHG. That's Horizon Hunter's Gathering. I think it's for both. I think there are fans that will just buy it because it's Horizon. I also think they're trying to get into the market of like, there's a big like Asian Monhun market out there. I think they're doing the same thing with the MMO. I think they're doing the same thing with the MMO. They're trying to get the Chinese market on mobile to play a Horizon game. They're definitely trying to grow that franchise and their footprint, 100%. A new report claims Bungie's upcoming extraction shooter Marathon will only be seen as a success if it reaches the top 5 NPD sales of the year. I don't see that happening. Yeah, the same guy that reported that. That's exactly right, Paul. Somebody with sources at Bungie said that game needs to be a top 5 NPD in sales. It needs to land in that hemisphere of revenue to be considered a success. Ain't no way. I don't see it. They don't have the consumer inertia right now. They don't have the momentum. That game's going to have to come out and be an absolute smash hit with a crazy, crazy sales curve. Like, not sure if I'm blocked from getting gifted. You've got to have it turned on, Oreo Shake. Love watching the shows, but I can't afford a sub. No worries. As long as you, I think anytime anybody gifts, you just have to make sure and toggle it so that you can receive them. Concord's an example of what can happen. I'm not calling Marathon Concord. I don't think anybody here is calling it Concord. I think we were just demonstrating, at least I was trying to demonstrate, there's been a pattern at PlayStation to not play test games. It's why the Horizon Hunter's Gathering game, to me, the reason I was excited is because I was like, oh, not excited, but the reason I'm hopeful is I was like, oh, they're actually going to play test the game. They're going to let people play it. It's still early enough that they can make good changes before the game comes out. That's a really good call. That's the only way a game like that's going to get off the ground and be successful. You can't just be like, hey, we've been working on this. Here it is. Enjoy. Nope, can't do that. No, you absolutely have to have the public touch the game first. You do. If you don't do that, you're going to struggle. You are absolutely going to struggle. You better have hit an absolute dadgum bullseye with your game design choices in your gameplay loop. Because players are going to touch the game and almost instantly have feedback and criticism about things. I think they're making the right call. I just think they're going to have to make revisions of that Horizon game. I think the art style's got to go through some revision. I'm not saying to completely change the art style. I'm not. I'm saying it's got to look more distinctively Horizon. It looks too much like a bunch of other games right now. We've seen so many games like that with the heroes and the real artistic big explosions and abilities, you know, and it kind of looks like it's not been built in, but it kind of looks like it was built in, you know, the Unreal Engine. And I'm here to tell you, a lot of people are going to look at that and they're going to be like, what is that? I can't tell if that's Horizon. That looks like every other live service hero game that's tried to come out in the past couple of years. I think they need to make the art style more distinct, more distinctly Horizon. I really do. Because if not, I think people that know it's Horizon are going to be slightly turned off by that fact. People that don't know it's Horizon are going to be slightly turned off by that fact. You know? How is Valorant doing, by the way? Haven't heard anything about this game, and people thought it was going to be the new Counter-Strike. I don't think you're ever going to be able to really, like, rival Counter-Strike's numbers with a game that's so adjacent to Counter-Strike. I think Valorant's doing fine. I don't think it's knocking the doors down. It's 1 month till launch. They're not canceling it unless they Concord it. No. I don't think they're canceling Marathon. I think Marathon will do fine in its first week. I do. I've said that many, many times. I'm going to continue to say that because everybody's going to come in that launch week and they're going to be like, you were wrong. And I'm going to be like, no, I said that it would have a strong launch week. I said that it would probably do well its opening month. I'm talking about down the line. I've said time and time again, I'm not talking about launch day or launch week. I'm talking about 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Those are like the gates that we need to check in on. Did you see the new Crimson Desert Combat video? I have no interest in it. It's more PC gameplay on the PlayStation channel. It's a game that's gone gold, and they can't show me console gameplay, so I'm not interested. I feel that something stinks. I've overbaked the cake at this point. I feel like I've made enough content and enough commentary for people to know what I think. I'm not a hater. I'm extremely skeptical. The marketing, I'm not talking about the game. The marketing of Crimson Desert doesn't pass the smell test. It has all the hallmarks of a misleading marketing campaign. Something ain't right. I'm just going to keep saying that. The game's 5 weeks away. It's gone gold, and you can't show me raw gameplay on the console. So I'm not going to keep watching really amazing, hyper sharp, hyper detailed, awesome looking PC gameplay footage. That doesn't do anything for me. It does nothing for me. You could do that right now. You could put together a trailer and make Cyberpunk look otherworldly on a beastly PC. What's that mean for me? I'm not going to get that experience on my console. Thanks. You know, like I don't know. I think they're getting negative feedback, though. The second video on the PlayStation channel, it says PC footage in the description, and it says it right at the beginning of the video. I think they're getting negative feedback. I think people are like, what the frick is this, bro? You're putting PC footage on the PlayStation channel, and you're not telling us until the very, 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 very end. Like, all the way at the end. It's not anywhere in the beginning. Now it is. Nioh Reaper with a $5 super chat. Anyone apologize yet for High Guard? 5,000 for the 24-hour peak? Well, I owe you guys more Madam playing High Guard. We're not going to be able to do that, though, if we don't unlock Saturday. So we got to unlock Saturday. I've lowered the goal because I took a day off. It's not your fault that I took a day off. So we just got to get it to 400, and you guys will get a stream with Madam. Yeah, the first 10 seconds it says captured on PC. I think they got pushback. Look at the way it shows up in the footage, by the way. Look at the way it shows up. I don't want to watch it. I'm just going to show you. I'm just going to show you something. I'm just going to make an observation here. Okay. Let's see here. Where did it go? All right, you ready for this? Watch how long it's on the screen. Watch how it shows up. Look at that. It's not even framed properly. It doesn't even have the appropriate amount of like padding and negative space beneath it. That is a late edition. That's not even, boom, already gone. Late edition. I'm serious. I think they got negative pushback. It's in the description now. It wasn't in the description before. You see this right here? This footage in this video was captured on PC. Yeah, that's absent from the first video unless they've edited it. That's a late edition. They got negative feedback and pushback from people, and they slapped that in there on this new video. It doesn't pass a smell test, boys. It doesn't pass a smell test. I'm not talking about the game, the studio, the combat. I'm not talking about any of that. The marketing stinks. Something doesn't smell right. The game has gone gold, and you're doing interviews, and you can't answer straight-faced about the performance on console. You keep saying, well, we're in the optimization phase. Homie, the game went gold. What's that? Huh? What do you mean? When a game goes gold, you can't tell me what you're targeting for console? You can't tell me what you're targeting for the PS5 Pro? It comes out in 5 weeks. And you're going to an enormous platform. People are like, well, who cares about console? They apparently do, because they're promoting their game on one of the biggest console platforms' YouTube channels. So apparently they do care about the console user, enough to show them footage that isn't even accurate to the experience they're going to have on their console. So tell me, who cares about the console user? Apparently they do. Gamer Boy with a $5 super chat. You know what Crimson Desert reminds me of? Cyberpunk 2077. We got nothing but PC gameplay footage with little to no console footage. I'm telling you. Jez Corden replied to my tweet. He says, live service games tend to have this kind of art style to speed up content production. It's why you don't really see very dense photorealistic live service games often, and many of the ones often run into update cadence issues. I'm going to get lost in the weeds here a little bit because it is Twitter. I'm not saying it needs to be photorealistic. It needs to be more distinctively Horizon. It doesn't look and feel, from a distance, it doesn't look and feel like a Horizon game. It looks like all those other games. To his point, that's why all those games do that. It's easy for them to add content. The issue with that is it doesn't look and feel as distinctively Horizon as it needs to. I don't need it to be photorealistic. I get it. The MMO on the mobile looks absurdly close to like Horizon's fidelity and style. I don't need that. I just need to be able to look at it and be like, oh yeah, that looks like Horizon to me. I think there's ways to do that. I think they could do work with the characters and the armor that they're wearing. I think the enemies themselves, it could be more distinct. I think there's elements that look good, like the trees and the environments and stuff. I think there's even things you could do in those environments to make it feel more distinctively Horizon. It doesn't need to look photorealistic. I know that's unreasonable for a game like that. It's easier, as he said, to update when you're in a more, less demanding art style. So, over-under on PlayStation taking Crimson Desert off the store the first 2 weeks. I don't think that's going to happen, D-Tom. I don't think we're dealing with the degree of what we saw with Cyberpunk. I don't think so. We've seen some PlayStation 5 gameplay, very chopped up, very quick. I don't think it's going to be to the degree of like a Cyberpunk where they remove it from the store. I think that's extreme. I just don't think it's going to run very well. I was extremely excited for Crimson, but Lono changed my mind on the game these last couple of weeks. Listen, and I know there are people that are excited and they're going to couch what I'm doing as hate. I think it's incredibly unfortunate when a YouTuber or a content creator takes the time to break down footage and marketing and say, hey guys, this is not a representation of what you're going to experience. I would pump the brakes and wait. For that to be labeled as hate, I think we're just in a terrible place. That like you can be vilified and turned into some kind of a villain because you're telling people to save their money just in case. Like, you can still buy it if I'm wrong. You can still buy it if I'm wrong. Like, calling what I'm doing hate is the single most disingenuous thing you could do in response to me saying, boys, this doesn't pass a smell test. I would wait. I would wait if I were you. You can watch me and others and numerous videos that will drop day one, and you'll be able to make a better decision. Lono needs to amend the way he positioned his concern for Crimson Desert. He has made it about console. He is saying that they haven't shown it on mid to low level hardware. What's the problem with me making it about console? They literally are going to a console platform YouTube channel with like 16 million subscribers. And they're showing footage. I said this the other day. Imagine if the Nintendo channel did that. Imagine the Nintendo channel uploaded a trailer for like Cyberpunk and it was PC footage. You'd be like, what the frick is this? This is the Nintendo channel. You're talking to the Nintendo audience. He's concerned for the performance there. Mid to low level hardware includes your mid-level PC. You're shadowboxing. You're not even engaging with what I'm saying. I'm talking about the marketing, Corey. You're talking about, mid to low level hardware includes your mid. No. And my PC's not mid to low level. What are you talking about? What? My gaming rig is not mid to low level. I'm here to tell you. I'm talking about the marketing. If you went to the Nintendo channel and you did that, people would call foul instantly. They would be like, "This is PC footage. Why are you doing this?" I think people probably take issue with how matter-of-factly you state things. I'm sorry, not sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Like, for example, there's not a universal smell test. Okay, but when I say it doesn't pass the smell test, that's obviously me basically saying this is a vibe thing. When I say something doesn't pass the smell test, I'm saying there's a vibe, something's off here. I say my spidey sense is tingling. That to me is making it clear this isn't concrete and factual. This is a sense in which something's off. There is caption on PS5 Pro marketing. It's not like there's no PS5 coverage. Would you care to compare how much actual gameplay is in there that's like genuine, pure, raw gameplay, Corey? It's like 1 minute and 45 seconds, and it's zoomed in, and it's cutting. It's never the genuine camera angle of gameplay footage at all. Like, my intuition says it's a vibe thing. When I say that since the beginning of Crimson Desert, my spidey senses tingled, this doesn't pass a smell test, something doesn't look right, all of that language is non-definitive feeling language. That's all non-definitive. I'm like, listen, y'all, something's not right here, doesn't pass the smell test. Like, for anybody to interpret as that me as being like definitively like indicative language, this game is going to be bad. Like, no, I'm saying something's off here. I'm not getting a good feeling here. It doesn't pass the smell test. The marketing has all the hallmarks of what we've seen in the past. When you won't let me see the dadgum game, the game went gold. Isn't it common knowledge that the PC version's always better, just like every other multi-plat game? That has nothing to do with putting a trailer on the channel that makes people see something that they're not going to see on their console. If you did that on Nintendo, people would be very upset. I don't disagree, but they're trying to lean on the great graphics aspect of the game. They ain't the first one to do that, and they won't be the last. Not everyone hears all that language. Now you're shadowboxing. They showed PS5 footage. They haven't shown enough. Is your point correct? I think you need to look up the definition of shadowboxing. I'm not shadowboxing. You're not engaging with the point. You do this all the time, Corey. I'm talking about the marketing. You have now 15 plus the latest 9-minute video. You have like 24 minutes of footage on the PlayStation channel, and it's all PC footage. And you're like, there's PS5 footage. Barely. There's like 1.5 minutes, and they're all quick cuts. They're all quick cuts. You were here the other day. We'll do it again. See, what you think I'm going to do is I'm not going to pull up the video again. I'll pull up the video again. You can't wear me out, brother. I know that's the strategy sometimes, but that's not going to work here. Crimson Desert PlayStation channel. What's the trailer? It's like it's the release date trailer, isn't it? There you go. It's 1:47. There you go. It's PS5 Pro. You know what? Watch how they do it. Watch how they couch the gameplay. Go ahead. Oh, by the way, it's 1:47. We're already 20 seconds in. We haven't seen any raw gameplay yet. None of this is raw gameplay. You have the camera particularly positioned to give it a cinematic look, which means you could be doing all sorts of post-processing if you want. You can do all that in the engine. Quick cuts, characters not moving, camera zoomed in. This is not what the game's going to look like when you're playing. So this is not raw gameplay footage. This is in-engine footage. We know what you can do in-engine. You can trick people. I have yet to see gameplay. This is all in-engine capture of like what you can do in the game for sure. This is not what I want when I say I want gameplay. None of this is what the game is going to look and feel like when you're playing. So you want to come in here and say, "Oh, but there's PS5 footage." Yeah, this is the PS5 footage. Hyper edited, hyper chopped up, particular camera angles. And then slow walk, slow camera pans. That's it. That's all you get. There you go. So yeah, you want to come in here and be like, oh, but there is PlayStation 5 footage and tell me I'm shadowboxing. No. My consistent point has been you're going to the PlayStation YouTube channel with gameplay. It's lengthy looks of gameplay, and it's on a PC. And the only thing you'll let me see on the PlayStation is hyper edited and hyper chopped up. That, to me, from a marketing perspective, that marketing doesn't pass the smell test. We have been here before. Creature says he's saying that he is seeing something here that we have seen before. Things went poorly. That's all I'm doing. This is pattern recognition. That's all it is. It's just pattern recognition. And to be like, but you're not framing it properly and you're being a hater. No, I am not. There is no PS5 gameplay, and they have stated that they haven't shown gameplay. Right. The only thing they've said is there's PS5 Pro gameplay. I would not... Calling that footage that we just watched, calling that gameplay, I think is incredibly disingenuous. I think that's so disingenuous. I'm like, that's not gameplay. Come on, stop that. The whole, like, it's in-engine thing, and you're going to call it gameplay? Oh my gosh, I'm so sick of that. That is not how we talk about games. When a gamer says, I want to see gameplay, I don't want to see your in-engine trickery. I'm so fed up with that. I am fed up with it. Show me the game. Show it to me. I've watched game trailers, game debuts, game announcements, and game launches for over a decade. And when you won't do that, it's because there's something wrong. There's something wrong. We have been here so many times, countless times. If you've got a good product and it's ready to go, you show it to the public. And when you won't do that, there's a reason for that. This is just basic deduction. Why? Remember we did this with the day before? They were accused of the gameplay being fake. Right? They were accused of the gameplay being fake. And what they do? They were like, oh, we'll get you raw gameplay. And like a week goes by, and then they released really weird, like over-the-shoulder footage. You guys use like a phone to record it. I'm like, I want you to think psychologically about if the game is real and it's genuine and you get accused of it being fake gameplay, you'd have had a video up that afternoon. You'd have been like, right here, boom, I'm loading up the game. We're building it in. We got a capture card. Here's me playing the game. Psychologically, you'd be so incensed. You'd be like, what do you mean? Of course it's real. Look how many indie titles and AA titles release gameplay footage all the time. They got little docu-series that they do and they show you what the game looks like. Again, my point is that the gameplay they have shown is on high-end PC, so the majority of the players are not going to get gameplay that looks and runs like that. That includes the majority of PC. Okay, Corey, you're missing the forest for the trees. If you come out and you show a PC gameplay trailer, PC users are accustomed to Spectrum. They understand that like a tech demo of Unreal at the GDC or like a gameplay trailer that all the ray tracing and path tracing's turned on, they know that your mileage may vary. They know that. That's not the same as going to a console YouTube channel and showing super souped up PC footage. We've been here before. It's like in Squid Game. I've played these games before. Like, they did this with Watch Dogs. They did it with The Day Before. They did it with Mind's Eye. They show you something that's like, it's smoke and mirrors, mate. It's smoke and mirrors. It's like, ooh, everything's turned up. And you're like, great. Then you get on your console and you're like, what the frick is this? PC's different. PC users are accustomed to your mileage may vary. There's min spec recommendations. There's recommended specs. There's like high-end showcases that they do. That's a whole different culture. That's a whole different culture. If you are a stream survey standard PC gamer, they know how to discount from high-end PC footage. They aren't going to be fooled. Console players are usually shown console footage. This is exactly what I'm getting at. If you did this on the Nintendo YouTube channel, it would be ridiculous and people would call it what it is. They'd be like, what are you doing? Imagine a trailer for like Cyberpunk on the Nintendo channel captured on a PC. You'd be like, this is absurd. It's not going to look like that on the Switch 2. This is absurd. But for some reason, they're allowed to do it on the PlayStation channel. It's totally fine. A company that sold like 92 million consoles, you better believe they're banking on getting a lot of people on PlayStation to buy this dadgum game. They got pre-order bonuses and everything. They're going to an enormous user base, and they're giving them footage that doesn't represent the product even remotely. Even remotely. You can tell by looking at the PS5 Pro footage. You're like, that PC footage is a canyon, a chasm away from what people are going to experience on their consoles on PlayStation. This is something that I get very passionate about, and I'm a stickler. I am a stickler on this. The customer should always be very adequately, exhaustively, and properly informed about what the frick they're buying. I did this with the Xbox ROG Ally X. I said, you guys keep calling it an Xbox. You got Sarah Bond saying what she said about how you can play games all across your library. And then what happened? Every review outlet said the same thing. It's not an Xbox. Marketing should be scrutinized. It should be analyzed. It should be held to a standard of honesty. This isn't outlandish. This shouldn't get pushback. It shouldn't. I don't know what happened with YouTube chat. Is YouTube having trouble? We were hot in the fire of debate, and YouTube chat just came to a dead stop. I don't know if YouTube's having a conniption or not. The platform's been acting squirrely lately. All the chat messages are coming in now. I think it's lagged. Oh, yeah. We were definitely lagged. Watch Dogs is a perfect example. If it says the game is being shown on PC, I don't see the issue. Sony showed Onimusha on a State of Play saying it was shown on PC. If you show it right at the beginning, I don't care. Also, I think the Onimusha trailer was more of like a mashup. When you're doing a gameplay debut, like, let me just look at what they're calling the trailer, man. I don't feel like I'm being unfair here. You title the trailer Crimson Desert Features Overview, Combat and Progression. The first video was, what do they call it? Crimson Desert Features Overview, Cliff and Open World. It's completely different. Homie, it's completely different than like a trailer, like an announcement trailer or like a mashup trailer where there's like maybe there's some cinematics, maybe there's some cutscenes, maybe there's some gameplay. And they're like, hey, this was all captured on PC. Also, Onimusha, I'm going to assume, what's the developer of Onimusha, right? What is it? Onimusha Way of the Sword? Isn't that what it's called? Developer. That's Capcom. That's not surprising at all. Like that's Capcom. Like you're talking about Capcom. That okay, fine. They're gonna show up with PC footage, whatever. Listen, as long as it's right at the beginning, that's fine. When's Onimusha coming out though? When's Onimusha coming out? Do we have a release date? We don't even have a release date yet. Do you see the difference? I'm here to tell you, my alarm bells for Crimson Desert were going off the very first time I set eyes on the game. You guys know this. I got ridiculed for saying this game's not real, and I was being hyperbolic, and obviously I was like lauding praise on the game. I was like, this is not real. There's no way. I'm saying it with a smile on my face. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. This seems too ambitious. This seems too good to be true, right? Spidey sense has been tingling since the beginning, okay? We're 5 weeks away and the game has gone gold, and you're going to the PlayStation channel with lengthy looks of gameplay. I have a problem with that. In the first trailer, they didn't say it until the very, 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 very end. They're saying it now on the front end because I think they got pushback. I don't think it's a coincidence that the second trailer, the second gameplay footage, has it in the description and has it at the very beginning really quickly, like boom, oh, it's on gameplay. And it's like it's not even framed properly. Creature could tell you, he edits videos. The way the text lands in that new video, that was a late addition. That was a late addition. They threw that in there. They're like, we're getting some pushback here. We better make sure people know this is PC footage. If you say it at the beginning, a lot of my frustration goes away. It's still there. I'm still frustrated that we're 5 weeks away and you just can't show me what the dadgum game looks like. Loto, everyone is using that for their thumbnails now. Crimson Desert's too good to be true. Oh, I definitely noticed that. I definitely noticed that. Oh, everybody's saying that now. They're like, well, I don't know, dude. This seems too good to be true. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. See, I'm not a monster. I'm just ahead of the curve. Yeah. What do we have here? Oh, Stone, you submitted a question. Shouldn't PlayStation and Sony consider how this would look to the user base not getting the actual gameplay from their own consoles? Yeah, I think PlayStation should be held accountable here as well. Yes. After what happened with Cyberpunk, they should be one of the first to say, yeah, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're not going to show millions of people footage of a game that doesn't represent the kind of thing that they're going to be able to experience on their console. Like, after Cyberpunk, I don't know why they would allow that kind of shenanigans on their channel. I think that's ridiculous. I think PlayStation should 100% be held accountable. There's a trust there. There's a trust that people have. And after what happened with Cyberpunk, I think they should. It's not surprising that the second trailer has it in there. I think they got negative pushback. I'm not going to take credit. We're not big enough. I don't think we made a big enough splash. But I think a lot of people in the comments were like, "What the frick, man? This is PC footage, and it doesn't tell us until the very last frame of the video." I understand your point, but I think you're wrong this time. I've got a good feeling they really took their time with the development. I don't know. If they did, I don't see evidence of it. I see evidence of a marketing strategy and a marketing campaign that's trying to keep all of this super quiet. That trailer did release on multiple outlets around YouTube channels at the same time. They may have been on Pearl Abyss, hence the change in the recent trailer. Oh, Oh, I didn't know that. If it's a magical banger, no one will be upset by that. Here's why I don't think it's a magical banger. If it was, they'd be out here flexing right now. They'd be flexing. They'd be like, check this out. This is gameplay footage on a PS5 right now. They'd be flexing. We remember when people went to the Death Stranding 2 capture event and they were blown away at the performance. They couldn't believe it. You remember what they said? They were like, and we were playing on standard PS5s. That is what you do when a game is well built and running well on consoles. You let it be seen. You let it be talked about. You don't do this weird smoke and mirrors thing where, like, you have beastly rigs at CES and people aren't allowed to tweak settings or mess with options. They're all standing there. Nobody's capturing footage, by the way. Did you notice that as well? Everybody's standing back with, like, phones and stuff. What are we doing here? They're still optimizing. If the game's truly running 4K native on 5090s, I'm assuming they're going to find a way to get it running on consoles. I don't know why I don't know why they were showing it at 4K native either. It's very weird. It's just a very weird choice. This guy said you can't sell skins with a character creator. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, you can. What do you mean? yes, you can. Oh. Hey, a Bumblepants submitted a question. He said, what game sells more copies, Halo Campaign Evolved or Marathon? I couldn't tell you, bro. I don't know. I really don't know. What were the other things I'm supposed to cover today? What did I say? So the release stage. Yeah, we need to go over a couple of things. People are going to go into the game expecting what was shown. They aren't reading fine print at the end of a trailer. True. Yeah, we've got some Marathon stuff that I'll need to read through and do a timestamp for. I'll also do my little bit about GTA 6 since I put that in the show open. I'll do a quick look at the Nioh 3 reviews also, and then we'll laugh at all the guys that said Yotei flopped. We'll laugh at all of them because that's exactly what we should do. Just like last year, I told you they were going to pick bad targets and they were going to be shown to be extremely misleading and dishonest. And Ghost of Yotei just walked out, made them all look really foolish, made them all look very dishonest, which is exactly what I knew would happen in time. Time and truth are undefeated. They come for everybody, just like death. Can't sell skins with a character creator. Diablo, Destiny. Yeah, I don't know why he's saying that. There are so many games out there right now where you have a character creator and you totally can edit what your character looks like and buy skins and outfits for them. I'm not really sure what games he's played. I don't know. Guys, do me a favor really quickly. I'm going to take a quick break. I need a quick break, and then we'll get into some of these other stories. Hit that like button and go crazy, and check your renewals, check your primes, check your subs, check your memberships on YouTube. Those renewals and celebrations count towards a total. All right, I'll be right back. Okay. All right, I'm back. I'm back. Street Shadow with 21 months says, old now, but to the guy who gave Lono crap about his Marathon opinion, you can disagree without attacking. I'm excited for Marathon. Can still engage. Yeah, and I know people were trying to perpetuate that and bait and say, oh, we can't have opinions now. No, I made it very clear. There's a big difference between sharing your opinion and invoking something that you know is in bad faith and has nothing to do with the discussion. Hot take, Nioh 3 is better than Elden Ring. Let's do that very quickly. I want to make sure I have this timestamp in here for people that might be looking for it. We're just going to quickly do this. So Nioh 3 is doing very, very well. I think on OpenCritic it's even higher than this. I can pull up OpenCritic in just a second. It's 86. Many are claiming that this is the best in the series. Others are saying that it's one of the best Souls games they have played. They feel like it has really innovated on the combat systems and the choice and the things that you're empowered to do. The only consistent note of like criticism I saw is that the story's not all that great, but many people are like, these games aren't really known for that. They're more about the combat. I'm seeing basically universal praise for this game and its combat, not just within the Nioh franchise, but within Souls games in general. Like, people are saying that this game is excellent. It's got an 86 on OpenCritic, so basically exactly the same score across both. So if you were looking forward to Nioh 3 as a Nioh fan, as a fan of these games, you probably have already purchased it. If you have not, I would say right now, based on the review scores, it is standing very, very tall, and you could probably buy it in confidence based off of the reviews. I myself am a little too old and slow for these games. They also stress me out. I don't enjoy playing them. I just get frustrated. So I've kind of moved on. From those types of games. I don't really enjoy them. I don't really vibe with them. So I am working on Cairn right now, the climbing game that came out, and I'm enjoying that one. It's a vibe. It's relaxing. It's chill. It's a fun loop. It's very satisfying. My wife and I are also playing Pow World. We're really enjoying that. We were kind of looking for a game to play together after the Mario Galaxy games. And Core Keeper was fun, but we hit a bit of a wall. Pow World is a lot more mission and quest oriented. So while we are surviving and building and doing things, we're also being given quests to go do. I think it's a very, very good mixture of survival as well as some linear nature to the game. It looks punishing. Is it actually chill? Okay, so you can play Cairn on the easier setting, and it really makes a big difference because you can like rewind if you fall. That has saved me lots of frustration. If every time I fell I had to start over in some of these sections, like maybe I forget to put like a thing or whatever in the wall, I probably would have bailed. If you're not looking for that, then you can play it at the easier setting and have a really good time. I would not be able to vibe with Cairn at all if I was constantly falling and having to start over. It wouldn't be relaxing. It would put me over the edge. So if you like that, like I know Nick DM'd me and he's like, I would really encourage you to push the difficulty back up unless you get stuck. And I went through a couple sections where I just kind of kept falling, and I was like, I just wouldn't like this game if I didn't have that feature. They clearly added that feature because they want people to engage with the game in their own way. Like, they know there's a spectrum of player. There's players that are going to love the hardcore nature of making it really difficult on themselves, or maybe they just want the more laid-back vibes. I'm definitely in like the laid-back vibes camp right now. I'm not trying to have like a stressful gaming session. So, yeah. You're addicted to Cairn? Yeah, it's fun. It really is. And like, I can play for a little bit, get to a new place, get to a new, level of elevation, and have a really good time with it. So, okay, we did the Nioh 3 thing. Yeah, we definitely need to look at this. So, in case you guys missed it, I hope you've seen this because it's hysterical and embarrassing for all the people who lied about this game repeatedly last year. Ghost of Yotei. So, this is the Sony CFO speaking on a shareholders call, okay? This is you can take this one to the bank. People are already responding in desperation. And they said, Ghost of Yotei, a tentpole title we released in October, exceeded the sales of the previous title in the same period of time and significantly contributed to the financial results of the quarter. Now, people are already coping and seething because they insisted that it had failed, it had flopped, it had not done well. Because they moved the goalposts so many times. At first it was go woke, go broke. Then it was, oh, well, of course it's going to be profitable. Its budget was really small. It's not selling better than Tsushima. It was lies stacked on top of lies. Okay, it outsold Tsushima in the same time period. Okay, in the exact same time period. So every single narrative about Yotei is dead and on the ground in a shambles. The question you should be asking is not, man, how did the game do so well? The question would be, why are you giving attention to people who have been proven to be so brazenly dishonest and deceptive over the years? Don't give these people attention. Like, don't even give it oxygen. The facts always comes out. The truth always comes out about these games, okay? Ask the better question. Why are people so committed to just making things up about games like this? Like, who does it really bother that this game was successful? It didn't hurt anybody, didn't do anything to anybody. It was an excellently told story. There was no presence of nonsense or like forced agenda, present deism, nothing. It was a very, very well told story, and it honored the franchise, and it stood on the shoulders of a great game, and I loved it very much. I thought it was an excellent game. I think it stands above Tsushima in many ways. I think it does. And I still like Tsushima more, but Yotei is excellent. So I just wanted to make sure we included this in the show because I kept telling people, based on what we were looking at and based on what we were seeing, I was like, everything people are saying about this game is just so obviously not true. You could tell that it was crushing and doing well and selling well. So there you go. Just bought it, excited to play this weekend. Enjoy. All right, let's do one more. Let's do one more segment here. I want to make sure these are all included. We can talk about whatever y'all want. I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure these segments are included. Okay, so if you missed this, I would be surprised. But the GTA 6 release date has been confirmed to once again still be on November the 19th. They said during the earnings call that the highly anticipated launch of Grand Theft Auto 6 on November the 19th. That's how they phrased it, basically confirming that's when it's coming. They said we continue to project record levels of net bookings for fiscal 2027, which we believe will establish a new financial baseline for our business. So they're once again tying it to the fiscal results. Now, this isn't the first time that they've done that, but that's not all they said. They went on to say that anytime you're getting closer to marketing beats, you're obviously in a place where your confidence level isn't as high as it can be. And the reason they're saying that is marketing's right around the corner. This is not something they've spoken to in the past. In the past, they kept it rather generic. They spoke only about the release date. They spoke only about their confidence. Now they're linking it to the marketing. The marketing is going to be kicking off in the summer and picking up in the summer. And that is, I think, corroborated by things we've heard in the past. We basically heard that like they're going to be working with Sony and they have some kind of a marketing deal with Sony. We know Sony likes to kick things off late May, early June to kick off Summer Game Fest. Now, the thing that they spoke to that I didn't expect them to speak to is they spoke to the physical release. Strauss Zelnick denied that there was going to be some staggered physical release. He said that is not the plan. That doesn't obviously mean that those plans could change. I mean, the way he phrased it obviously leaves, I guess, a little bit of wiggle room. But he said that is not the plan. So the physical release is set to be coming out on the day that the game releases. Also, they spoke to generative AI. The Take-Two CEO said, quote, generative AI has zero part in what Rockstar Games is building. Now, that doesn't mean they're not going to use generative AI in anything, but with what they're building in Grand Theft Auto 6, it's not there. So clearly, there's a growing stigma, a big enough stigma at least, with respect to generative AI, that they are willing to speak publicly about the fact that they are not using it. Now, we're also hearing different things about the marketing, about including the community. There's probably going to be some type of a social media push, TikTok push. We know there's going to be some type of social media presence inside the game where you're able to like grow your own social media, footprint and things like that. So yeah, that's probably coming as well. But that's the GTA 6 stuff. According to reports, people are upset it didn't outsell Forza Horizon. Shut up, Goat Gaming. Guys, don't take Goat Gaming seriously, man. He's a troll. He's a professional troll. I think that's everything I mentioned in the show open. GTA 6, Nioh roundup, Yotei. Oh no, the Bungie Marathon leak. Hang on. High Guard Episode 2 patch notes launching February the 6th. Okay. I'll save that for later. We might need... Okay. All right, here we go. Marathon ranked mode details leak, including tiers and rewards. So this is something, Marathon's going to include a ranked mode, and a new report provides the first look into its details. Bungie's not officially confirmed many details about the upcoming extraction shooter Marathon. However, new details have been shared with MP first, courtesy of leaker XOX Leak. The ranked mode and in the upcoming game will have 6 tiers, with the discussion of a 7th master tier. The 6 tiers mentioned in the report are, hang on, let me spread this. There we go. Are bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and pinnacle. Each tier has 3 individual sub-rankings as players rank up. Ranked rewards will include cosmetics and other items, some of which players will be able to equip directly, and others will be gifted to them after the season is over. The report goes on to mention scoring details, noting that players must have a Holotag equipped to score in a match. There is no Holotag equipped. There will be no contribution to the score. If players successfully exfil from a ranked match before reaching the target score, no rank progress is gained. Failing to exfil results in point loss equal to the full score target. So I've talked about this. Like, I think this is just one more element of what I believe will push lots of players away from the game. Just being overly punishing and hardcore and sweaty. I think the hardcore players are going to love this. I think everybody else is going to hate something like this. Forced wipes as well is something that I think is going to drive people away. I think they're really, really carving this game out to be, very narrowly appealing. Holotags have rarities equivalent to the ranks mentioned above. Each tag has unique effects that boost score targets when looted from the runners during a match, also enabling potential scores higher than the initial target. For example, a silver Holotag grants a player 5,000 credits to their score target on infill, and any additional loot silver tags expand their credit capacities by 1,000. For more Marathon Insider Gaming. Yeah, guys, make sure and support Insider Gaming. They do good work over there. Follow them on Twitter, support the YouTube channel, and what have you. Yeah, I just continue. I just continue to think that they're really, really narrowing the offer. I just think the offer is narrow. It's like I really, really think you're going to make it hard for people to enjoy that game if they're not hyper hardcore sweaty. That's going to make it tough. That's just a tough sell for a big audience. I just continue to say that. Somebody said, what's your opinion on Code Vein 2? It did not score very well. I skipped that one. I was going to check it out, and then the more I watched gameplay, the more I was like, I don't think I'm going to like this. It did not score very well. There are people that are enjoying it for sure, but it seemingly didn't do all that well. The Dragon Quest Reimagined game is available right now. I believe that game scored well. Yeah. It's just an offering for hardcore players in the game. It's just additive. Right, but if that's one of the primary means of your sense of progress, I just think that's going to, especially with forced wipes, I don't know. If there's one thing I feel like I've been pretty consistent at, I've been pretty consistent at predicting player response. And I think you're going to have a lot of negative response to the way they're structuring that game. And when your aspirational setup, when your progressive setup, when the way you can feel a sense of power and progression and standing in the game appeals to hardcore players, that will be your player base. That will be your player base. That's it. That's them. And hopefully they're big enough to continue coming back and sustaining the game. You know? I was going to check it out too a bit, but skipped it. because of the score for Code Vein 2. Yeah. Tons of players play Overwatch and Marvel Rivals and don't touch ranked at all. Right, but you can also play those games very casually. I don't think I've seen anything from the footage of Marathon that makes it seem like you can play the game casually, like, at all. I feel like you can play Arc Raiders super casually. You can play Helldivers super casually. You can play Rivals and Overwatch super casually if you want. For Pete's sakes, you can play Valorant casually if you want. I don't see... Marathon just seems like from moment one that you step foot in the game, it's intense, it's punishing, it's sweaty. Like, that's great for people that want that. I'm here to tell you, I think that's a smaller group. I don't think that's a big enough group. If everything that's beyond, like, introductory gameplay is structured in that way... people are gonna say, "Yeah, I'm good." They're like, "I'm good. I don't need a game like that." It's not casual though. It's a competitive PvP shooter. Good luck launching one of those in 2026. Things you can't handle. I mean, you can make it about me all you want. I just think that's a very ineffective way to argue. This has nothing to do with me. This has nothing to do with me. You want to make it about me, that's fine. I'm just telling you, in the market right now, that's a tough sell, boys. What is this? Perfect Image says, I told y'all, let's wait until Rockstar earnings call. I've been a GTA player since the PlayStation 3, and Rockstar always gives Easter eggs. GTA Online and follow good sources, understand Steam code, so win for me. I don't know. Your Steam theory was fine, but your Steam theory was basically like, well, because of this stuff in Steam, they're going to hit the date. I don't know if the earnings call corroborated that. I'm talking about your skills, not personal stuff. You're talking about me. I have nothing to do with the assessment of it, TJ. How can you not see that? You're making it about me. Oh, that's all stuff you can't handle, Lono. What the frick does that have to do with what we're talking about? What does that have to do with what we're talking about? I'm making observations about way players respond to these types of games. And you're like, yeah, you can't handle it. That has nothing to do with my point. You're making it about me. I didn't say you're making it about my personal life. You're making it personal. You're not making the argument about what I'm saying. You're making it about my preferences as a player. Like, if a really, really punishing FromSoft game came out and they did something in the gameplay or the structure and I said, yeah, I think people are really going to dislike that. You're not a shooter? Okay. I'm sorry to say, you're kind of embarrassing yourself. You're not entering the landscape of the discussion. You're just not. You're talking about me. This has nothing to do with me. The market at large doesn't respond to this type of game in large quantities, and I think that's what you need in order to have a successful live service game from a studio the size of Bungie. You make it about me all you want. You want to know what I barely ever did? I barely ever played Trials. You know what I got really good at? I got really good at predicting what people were going to do in Trials and how they were going to respond to updates and changes to the Trials format. I didn't play Trials all that much, dude. I professionally shoutcasted Fortnite. Did I ever professionally play Fortnite and compete at that level? Could I build like that? Could I edit like that? No. But I got contracts to shoutcast Fortnite because I understood the game. I understood the game flow. I understood the strategy. I'm also pretty good at shoutcasting. Like, you don't need to be extremely good at a particular game to talk about how players are going to react to structure. Like, I don't need to be a bricklayer to know if a guy's going down a really steep slope with a bunch of bricks and a wheelbarrow. I'm gonna be like, yeah, that's gonna get away from him. That slope is too steep. You're not a bricklayer. Look at you, little 5'6" skinny white boy. You're not a bricklayer. You don't have any idea. I'm like, okay, I can tell if a slope is too steep. Like, you know what I'm saying? Zubair says, I can easily point out when people are being an idiot, and I have very little experience being an idiot. Highguard's a super competitive shooter, and a week later pushing 5 to 24. You know what's funny? I had a lot of people do the same thing when it came to Highguard. I had a lot of people do the same thing when it came to Concord. They wanted to make it about me and my credentials and my preferences. I think those games speak for themselves. No, we circled back to it, Metal. We've talked about it, Metal Matt. We've talked about a bunch of other things. You got to show me your certificate of studying hills for me to take your hill analysis seriously. I think people are just overthinking it. People will play a live service game if it's simply good. I think many people, okay, I think many people are not hearing what I'm saying. They think they know what I'm saying, but they're not hearing what I'm saying, okay? We were all negative about those games? No, there were plenty of people that were defending Concord and Highguard. So that's not true. I am saying re-engagement will be the biggest struggle. Why? Number one, virtually all live service games struggle with re-engagement. It is the single biggest challenge of every single live service game. Re-engagement is the number one challenge. I think that challenge gets multiplied, compounded, and magnified when you do a lot of what Marathon is doing. You're appealing to a very narrow subset. You're charging money. You lost a lot of goodwill as a company. You had a really bad first showing. Mandatory wipes, sweaty environment, hero abilities that are very potent and described as broken. And now you got some sweaty ranked thing where you can lose all your stuff if you don't get out or somebody kills you and takes it from you. These are all things that take this foundational challenge of re-engagement, and it makes that significantly harder. I'm not talking about game quality. I'm not talking about fun. I'm not talking about whether or not people are going to like it. I'm saying re-engagement will be the single greatest challenge of this game because it's the single greatest challenge of all live service games, and I believe they have made choices that will make re-engagement even more challenging. All the top Steam games counter your argument? No, they don't. $5 from Street Shadow says, on a different note, PS5 has outsold PS3, I think hitting 92 million sold now. GTA 6 will likely push it to 110, 120 in the next year. System seller, for sure. People love PvP games. There's just half of a loud audience that loves PvE games that don't get it. No, you don't get it. You're not engaging with my argument. And I'll take what you just said and I'll rip it to ribbons because it's like the 10th time you've made this argument, dudeness. There's a graveyard. There is a graveyard of failed live service games that could not maintain re-engagement patterns. There's way more live service failures than there are successes. Therefore, your logic undoes itself and inadvertently argues against itself because you're trying to use successes to say, oh yeah, these other games can be successful. You've got to look at the failures as well as the successes, which tilts the scales completely away from your argument being compelling. Because those games were not good. Sure, everybody said that Splitgate was bad. Everybody said that X Defiant was bad. Oh wait, they said the opposite. They said they were good. They said they were enjoyable. They said they were fun. Marvel Rivals was explosive and highly praised. People loved it, and even it experienced significant player drop-off. It's still doing fine. It's not dead, but what you're saying is that, well, those games failed because they were bad. What are you talking about? Plenty of people talked about how good these games were. If a game has failed, it's because it weren't good. Platitudinous and false. That's not true. That is so platitudinous and false. Plenty of live service games have failed. It has nothing to do with them being good. Nobody said Splitgate was bad. They just stopped playing. Nobody said X Defiant was bad. They just didn't, not enough people were re-engaging. Re-engagement patterns don't indict a game's quality. Sometimes people get bored. Sometimes people move on. Sometimes people feel like, I've had my fill. Look at the Helldivers 2 numbers. They go way, way down over time, and then they'll spurt back up with new content and go back down, right? They're dealing with re-engagement struggles. Now, they've made, like, tons of money, sure, but they struggle with re-engagement patterns too. When the numbers start going down, it's not like the game suddenly magically becomes bad in that moment. You're acting like every single game that has suffered from re-engagement patterns, oh, it's a bad game. That's so simplistic. There could be so many other reasons why it didn't make it. I'm trying to say the best PvP games stand the test of time. Why are those PvP games still engaged with? I mean, you could look at Josh Strife Hayes' recent video on MMORPGs for a very compelling argument as to why long-standing games keep their audience and the new games struggle to get people. Like EverQuest 2 didn't do as well as EverQuest 1, getting people off of WoW, it's incredibly difficult. It becomes the incumbent, it becomes the assumption, it becomes their social space, and they don't want to move to a new game because they're going to feel like that familiarity and all that's going to get left behind. So yes, you can point to games like Fortnite, CSGO, and others and be like, yeah, see, people love PvP games. You're arguing against a point that I'm not arguing. That's why it gets frustrating. You're shadowboxing. You're like, yeah, no, people love PvP games. I never said they didn't love PvP games. Look at all the people that love PvP games. I never said people don't love PvP games. These successful PvP games prove that people like PvP games. I never said that people don't like PvP games. You're not engaging with what I'm saying. I am talking about re-engagement. It is the single most challenging thing for a game to do. Nothing I just said has anything to do with whether or not people like PvP games. Set that point to the side. If you make it again, you're conceding that you don't have an argument. Engage with what I am saying. I am not talking about whether or not people like PvP games. I'm saying you need people to come back again and again and again and again for months and years to have a successful live service game. And when games fail to do that, it's not an indictment of their quality like they suck. Sometimes they just don't have staying power. A lack of staying power doesn't mean the game was bad. There are plenty of games that were perfectly fine, but they don't have staying power. People move on. There's always a risk of a new game not capturing an audience. Are we never going to do another good PvP game? I never said that. Like I said, you think you know what I'm saying. You aren't listening to what I'm saying. You aren't listening. I've said time and time again, they've improved Marathon. Right? They've improved Marathon. I think it'll have a decent player base at launch. That's not the question. Set that to the side. I'm not saying no PvP games should be out. I'm not saying they shouldn't launch any more PvP games. I'm simply saying, listen, these games struggle with this particular thing. And I'm looking at a game that's going to make it even harder to have that struggle not become their number one problem. They're specifically making re-engagement a greater challenge for themselves with their design. As evidenced by Arc Raiders knowing this, and Arc Raiders structured their game around letting people play their way. They understood if people come in and have a bad time and lose their stuff, if that happens enough, they're going to bail. They're going to leave. And we don't want that. So what they do, they designed a game to give people aggression-based matchmaking, and the re-engagement patterns are healthy because you can come in and you can play the game in your way. They don't make you wipe your character. They don't make you reset your character. They don't make you do that. They don't. They let you play how you want. In walks Marathon. Very PvP focused, very abilities focused. We know these are things that turn players off. They're going to make you wipe your character. We know people don't like that. They were hesitant to even add proximity chat. They seem very hesitant to do things that they know players are going to want. And now we've got this ranked thing that's going to make it have even more of a sweaty identity. That's great if that's what you want your game to be and appeal to. I'm telling you, that narrows your funnel significantly, making the game's longevity very questionable. I'm using PvP games as an argument because they are competitive. They hold re-engagement. Why can't Marathon if it comes out and it captures that audience? So you think Fortnite, one of the most played live service PvP games in the world, you think it's competitive? You think my kiddos play every Saturday because it's competitive? Why do you think my kids are able to play Fortnite? There's greater risk. I always agree with that. That's the only point I've been making. I think people keep missing that. I'm just saying, I think they're compounding this challenge. I don't think they adequately thought about this challenge. I don't think they did. I think it's going to bite them square on the rear end. I think 6 months in, we're going to be like, did the audience just drift? They just drifted. If the entire potential audience for Marathon's only the player base of Tarkov, they're in trouble. Arc Raiders definitely has a broader spectrum depending on how the player engages. I love that word, spectrum. That's what I've always talked about. I think to have a successful live service game, you have to have spectrum. You have to have a way for somebody to engage 1 hour a night or 10 hours a day, and they both need to feel adequately rewarded for their time. What about Apex Legends? That's significantly less popular than Fortnite, and yet it found its audience. It did. Apex also probably has pretty aggressive skill-based matchmaking, because the last time I played it, anytime I played with anybody who was more experienced than me, we got put into sweat lobbies. So that's probably potentially why they've maintained a player pool, because you can probably play that game and be pretty bad and get into lobbies where you're able to have a good time. Marathon does not strike me as a game that you can play casually, like at all. PUBG, Apex, Counter-Strike's competitive. Again, going to the incumbents, going to the big successful games, especially PUBG and Apex, I don't think at all helps your argument. I think that works against your argument, because plenty of people are already playing those games. That's their home game. You think anybody's going to put down Apex and make this their main game, or Counter-Strike, or PUBG? You keep citing those player pools as if, yeah, that's evidence this game could be successful. No, that's evidence of games that are already successful and already have captive user bases. You think those user bases are going to migrate to Marathon? I don't think so. I really don't. I just don't. I think that's a huge struggle. I don't think you're going to get people to migrate. I'm an Apex main and I'm going to play it. Apex maybe, definitely not CS or PUBG. I definitely see more adjacency with Apex. Like, I could see Apex people being like, I'm super burned out. This is a fresh take. I could definitely see Apex having more adjacency, as evidenced by, you saying, I'm an Apex guy, I'm going to play it. I don't know. I'm really struggling to see it any other way. Oh, I had somebody explain to me the dry hating thing. Symbol DM'd me. He said, most people hear your skepticism as hating indirectly. You're not flat out saying the game is bad, but you're saying, I don't know, we've been here before, I wouldn't pre-order. So the implication is it might be bad or it will be bad, which could be true, but that does imply some people to the game that it'll be bad automatically from your point of view. That's why I think you hear it as hating. If you simply said what you said and added that it might be good as well, we'll just have to wait and see, which you do say at times, then it wouldn't seem like a one-sided skepticism. You may not care how people misinterpret, but that's my best guess. No, I think that's totally fair, Symbol, and I appreciate the DM. Here's what I think happens, right? Here's what I think happens. I think a lot of people, they defend the game so strongly, I fixate on those people, and then if you're just an observer from the sidelines, you're like, man, this guy's really going hard at Crimson Desert. And what I'm actually doing is I'm going hard at argumentation in defense of Crimson Desert. There's a difference. And I think people probably just misinterpret. I get really passionate. I get really wound up. And if you've been here for 5 minutes and you hear me and I'm in a knockdown, drag out argument with somebody who's like defending Crimson Desert, you're going to be like, holy cow, he really hates this game. And I was like, no. I think the game could be incredible. It has my full attention. It's had my full attention for a very long time. I'm telling you right now, it looks like a great game that shouldn't come out for almost a year. Like, it just doesn't look like it's ready to come out. Yo, what's good, Feed? I see you in the chat. I can't say that qualifier every time. That's like really exhausting to a conversation. To be like, it could be great, it could be great, it could be great, it could be great. Like, I do think Crimson Desert looks like a game that could be great. It looks like a great game that's coming out too early. I also think it looks like they scope creeped the frick out of the game. There's just so much in it. There's so much in it. A 5 spot from Neo Reaper. I'm a Shoots and Ladder guy myself. I'm going to give Marathon a shot. Guy Volley says, do you think there's an audience that is now more interested in the extraction genre thanks to Ark, who's looking for something with more PvP? Yes, and I think that's fair to argue that. If you would argue that, hey, Ark Raiders put extraction games on the map, there's now more people interested in them, and there's clearly people who would rather do more PvP in extraction, and I bet you they're going to find Marathon more appealing than Ark Raiders. I actually think that's a good argument. I do. I think that's a really good argument. I worry that those folks are the type that will bleed a game dry and move on. Like, if they just want to go hyper sweaty PvP in an extraction game, I don't know if they're going to plant their flag in the game and stay there for very long. That's just kind of my assumption and presumption about their player habits and their personalities. You know the type. You know the type. You've played with these guys. You've been around these guys. These homies, they will wring a game out like a rag and move on. I think that's the best argument you could make. Is you could say Ark Raiders put extraction games on the map. Ark Raiders is not very satisfying for PvP players. Marathon's going to be satisfying for people who suddenly decided, hey, extraction's pretty cool, but I want more of a PvP element. It's also first person and not third person, and PvP guys a lot of times don't like third person because they think 3-peaking is annoying. Fair, it is kind of annoying, especially if you're more PvP focused. So I think that's the best argument you could make. I don't know if they're a solution or an answer to my biggest concern, which is re-engagement. Re-engagement is the issue. Like, I just don't know if that's a player pool that's going to re-engage in 6 months. Jor Raptor says, and Wire Rope comes in with a 5 bomb. It's been a little quiet on the gifted front. We're at 162. I've lowered the goal to 400 because I did take a day off. I think that's fair when you guys miss a day. It's not fair to expect you to suddenly like double up. But we're going to need to be at 400 by the end of the day Friday if you guys want that Saturday stream with Madam. And it's looking a little lean this week. That's okay, but that is an extra stream that we do on Saturdays. But Jor Raptor says he was part of the creator council for Horizon Hunters Gathering. It's an amazing experience to go behind closed doors to get a very unique peek into game development. Yeah, he's also thinking that the game doesn't look all that hot. Yo, a single gifted comes in from Stonespire. Stonespire's going to do 2 more. He's going to do 2 more. He wants this thing to be a 10-bomb bait to 175. There it is, 164. Remember, whoever hits it gets it. Whoever makes this hit 175, I owe your platform a member. So Jor Raptor was a part of the team that contributed to the game. And there it is, another one from Stonespire. We're exactly 10 away. And he says, I'm really disappointed. Like, he was a part of, like, trying to give them feedback and stuff. I'd be very, very interested into, like, did they ignore a lot of his feedback or something? Oh, I'm so sorry, Raven. I did miss your resubscription. I apologize. Resub from Raven, 22 months. Thank you so much for doing that. Let me add that to the total. Stone's fishing. Yeah, he's out here fishing, boys. Ark Raiders has lowered the expedition requirement to 3 million coins. Let players catch up on missed skill points from the first expedition for just 300,000 each. So they're trying to rectify what they feel like was kind of an overcalculation for the first time. Yeah. It's all right. I ride at Glasgow now, waiting for food. Enjoy your food. Hang on. I think Dudeness said something. It's all good for the debate. Read my last. Sorry, Lono. I just love PvP games. I was trying to counter your points, but I get passionate because I want new good PvP games. I hear and a VIP from my man Sam. Thank you so much, Sam. That's 36 months. That's a lot of months, Sam. Thank you. No. You're fine, Dudeness. The reason and a duck on Quack does a single gifted. Thank you very much. The reason I just get frustrated is I do feel like oftentimes I'm saying, man, I don't know about re-engagement, and people are like over here going, yeah, but PvP games are popular. Hey, but good PvP games can exist. And I'm like, I'm not saying anything about that, right? I get your perspective. You're like, I talked about this. Another thing that Josh Strife Hayes said in his video is like, why do people defend MMORPGs that aren't out yet? Why do they defend them so ardently? And he said, because when it doesn't exist yet, it's still in dream state. It's a dream. It's a dream. It's perfect. It can't be bad yet. And they don't like when you start to shatter that dream. And right now, that's somewhat true for a lot of you guys with Marathon. It isn't out yet. It could be amazing. You could be loving it 3 months in. And I come in and shatter that dream and I'm like, yeah, I don't know if it's going to have a player base in 6 months. I think it's going to struggle with re-engagement. You feel like I'm basically pushing against hope, and people don't like that. They don't. They're like, I'm kind of hoping that this game is good. I'm hoping this game is awesome. Crimson Desert, same thing. There's this hope that's going to be this amazing experience, and they feel like I'm shattering and bashing against hope. And it's like, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to say, honestly, what I see and what I feel. I'm not putting down any game for Marathon. I'm picking up Marathon to fill a niche no other game is filling. The ranked ladder alone will get me to re-engage. Yeah. For every person that'll re-engage for the ranking and the ladders and the resets, I think you lose more than you get back. I think it's a slippery slide down. I think when you require and you force everybody to reset and start over, I think you lose more people than you keep. I think for every one person that's like, yeah, I'm ready to go, let's go. Oh, that was a great reset. There's 3 or 4 that are like, I'm out. Like, I think you lose more than you gain on that. We weren't trying to make it personal either. I'm not concerned with your intentions. Your argumentation method was to make it about me, TJ. You've been around long enough that I let it slide. I know you weren't being toxic. But when you're like, yeah, Lono, you can't hang, you're not a shooter, you're not a PvPer, you don't go and frag out, it's like, that has nothing to do with my analysis. That has nothing to do with my argument. You're making it about me. Dark Taco with a $10 super chat. Lono, I believe there's plenty of players in the market that want to play Tarkov and never had access, even before Arc dropped. Marathon could satiate that market. But yes, re-engagement is tough. Yes. There could be people that are like, hey, Tarkov sounds cool, or a more PvP-focused extraction sounds cool. I can't really get that on the console. That's kind of what Eugene was hinting at when he said it's niche. It'll hit a niche that nothing is right now, right? He was kind of hinting at that. My man Dark Taco gifts a member and gets us to 169. Nice. I don't think it's logical to become invested in a product we haven't even seen yet. Yanadid, they're not being logical. They're being, I don't say this as an insult. They're being emotional, and I think that that's okay. I think it's okay to be excited or hopeful about a game. Those are emotional states. Those are not logical states. I think that's fine. And I think that's why they get upset. Again, I'm not being condescending. I get passionate too. I think they get upset when I start to push against that. Does that make sense? They're not being logical. They're hopeful. They're excited. They're like, yeah, this game's going to be sick. And here comes Lono. Here comes Reforge. You know, Nioh Reaper bumps it to 170. We're a 5 bomb away from 175. And I'll owe you guys a member. I think I owe YouTube a member. I think it happened when I was doing something. I'm excited. Yeah, I'm not being condescending at all. I think it's totally okay for gamers to be excited and hopeful. Those are emotional states. You can have zero logic behind it. You could just be shutting your brain off and like watching trailers and you're like, this is sick. I can't wait. Right? God love ya. We need people to be excited about games and happy about games and not a bunch of complaining, whining, everything sucks and gaming's lame and gaming's dying. Listen, I'll take hopeful Defense Force over the whiners who claim gaming is cooked and dead and dying. I'll take the hopeful guys every day of the week. I like you guys a whole lot more. Feed Chicken with 39 months jumping back in. Thank you. I would much rather deal with hopeful Defense Force people that are like, you're being a hater. I'd much rather engage with y'all than the guys that are like, gaming is terrible right now, and AAA's cooked, and gaming sucks. And I'm like, what the frick did you play last year? What the heck did you play? I, for one, enjoy being happy. That's right. You have to see. This is just like when I tried to warn the Xbox guys about what was coming. I'm on your side. I am your friend. I am your ally. I am an ally to your fun and your enjoyment. Don't get that all twisted up. I am genuinely trying to protect people from having expectations that are misaligned or expectations that are, probably just not going to come to fruition. Like, I am attempting to be an ally to that fun that you want to have. I'm not the bad guy here. I'm not even hopeful. I just have my expectations reasonable. Well, yeah, Eugene, you've not been in here being like hopeful Defense Force. You've been like, I don't care if the game's around in 6 months. I'll play it, get what I want out of it, and I'll be happy with that. You know what I mean? I don't think you've had any expectations beyond 6 months. At least you haven't voiced it. Some people are too critical. I can't take a moment to just have fun in a video game anymore. Oh, I don't know. Once a game is out. See, Redfall comes to mind. Yeah, I tried to tell people about Redfall, and I got a lot of hate for that, too. Nobody in here is hating, by the way. I just, people don't like it when you're critical of something. The game at launch is going to provide what I want. Anything after that's gravy. Yeah. You have to remember something, too. Like, Eugene is a very like lawyer-esque, because he's a lawyer, very lawyer-esque logical guy. That's why he's never been in here arguing about re-engagement, because like that, I think he knows that's a freaking gauntlet. No one can make a prediction about that. I'm going to play it, get fun out of it. If it gets beyond that, great. Prove it, play 10 hours of High Guard. No. Gamers will play bangers regardless of the noise. Yeah, once a game is out, I think you just have to shut the noise out if you're having a good time. I had a guy reply to my Ghost of Yotei tweet, and he said that it was mid-AF. I don't freaking care that he said that. Why would I care that he said that? I had an amazing time. I have great memories and enjoyed 60-something hours of entertainment and fighting and combat. Very minimal criticisms of that game. Very minimal. Why do I care that guy said it's mid-AF? Okay. I guarantee you he likes something that I think is mid. So the frick what? You know what I mean? You just enjoy what you're going to enjoy. Hey, Forge, remember we're supposed to get a new Xbox? According to AMD, Magnus is... Jez Corden says it's not internally called Magnus. I'm just going to keep calling it that because that's what at this point, it's become the gamer colloquialism for the next Xbox. So I'm not going to be like stickler pedantic about it and be like, I'm not going to call it Magnus anymore. Like, I'm not that concerned with what we call it. Everybody knows what I mean when I say Magnus. Okay. AMD has made it clear it's on pace and it's coming out next year. So, whatever that means. Try that Pragmata demo. I was impressed. Where did you play it? Did you play it on the Switch 2? You're saying it. How did it run on the Switch 2 if that's where you played it? I couldn't stand Red Dead 2, but I'm not going to tell others it's mid. Mr. Anderson, if you tell people that the combat in Red Dead 2 is not very good and dated, they get pretty angry. I'm like, it's a graphically impressive game. It's excellent writing and voice acting. It's an incredible open world. The combat's kind of ish. It's just not very good. It doesn't feel like they did much. They didn't do enough with it. They didn't really transcend it. and improve it and innovate on it, oh boy, they'll come for you, bud. They'll come for you. They're like, what did you say about Red Dead Redemption 2? Our Lord and Savior, Red Dead 2. It's okay to be wrong about the Red Dead combat. That's right. That's right. I'm allowed to be wrong about it. The demo's... Wait, the demo for Pragmata's on PlayStation now? No way. I'm going to have to definitely check that out. Because I didn't want to play it on PC. It's like, I want to see how this runs on my Pro. Because we saw performance issues in some of the trailers. Oh, sick. I'll play that. I'll play that this afternoon. I might showcase that tomorrow. I don't want to do it today. We've already done 2 live streams today. I don't want to do anything with it tomorrow. We've had a really, really good day, but I'll check that out. If I feel like it's really worth showing off, I could show that to you guys tomorrow. Wait, is this not... What the heck? I said to erase the song. Oh, it found another one. Stupid. It literally found the song that I already told to mute. It found another instance of it in the broadcast. Like, you are dumb. You are so dumb. Thoughts on the new Horizon game announcement? I think the art style needs to go through some revision. I think it needs to be more distinctly Horizon. And I think they're going to have to maybe consider letting people make their own characters. I don't know if people are going to vibe with choosing a hero. I think that works against what we were just talking about, like ongoing engagement. I don't know if anybody's coming back to like a Horizon Monhun game 3 months later to play as some hero that isn't their person. I don't know. I think it has potential. I give them praise for 2 things. They're letting people see a bunch of it early. They're letting people play it and provide feedback early. Those are really good ideas. I also think they could be potentially looking to be more popular within the sort of the Asian Monhun market, and less like European Western players might not like it as much. There's a mainline single-player Horizon game coming. There's the mobile MMO Horizon game coming, which they're probably hoping is very popular in China as they continue to want to break into the Chinese market. A mobile MMO could do that and put Horizon on the map with more people. Yeah. I'm sitting here thinking that Lono's 5070 Ti rig spends all its time playing games at 1440-60, and I weep. It could have done so much more with its life. I don't even play games on it, Zubair. It's worse than that. I don't know the last time I booted up a game. Will you play No Rest for the Wicked when it releases on console? Yes, I plan on playing it with Madam because you can even turn the difficulty down, and it looks like the kind of game that she and I could enjoy, more casually. Late remark, but a force reset wipe is the reason I won't bother trying Marathon, says Pac-Man. He doesn't even game. I don't even game on it. I think I'm genuinely considering switching it to the streaming rig. Because I still feel like this streaming rig acts funky. I agree with you, Victor. I think that hunting game does look like Dauntless. Yeah. I think it's very, very similar to Dauntless. That's why I think the art style needs to go through some revision. I think it needs to go through some revision. It feels very, very I don't know. It just feels super, super adjacent. It just feels super adjacent to so many other games that have already come out. You gotta let go of gear fear, free your mind. I don't think you're gonna be able to change people. Speaking of Horizon, I'm still trucking through Forbidden West and loving it so far. I don't know how far into it I am. I feel pretty far and it's great. Yeah, I just keep playing. I wouldn't even look how far you are. Just keep playing. If you're not feeling any fatigue, just keep going. Yeah, the knockoff games look more Horizon than the official. Yeah, Light of Motirum looked more like Horizon than this game. The Verge is reporting on Xbox's 2026. So Halo Campaign Evolved is targeting the summer. Gears of War E-Day is targeting second half of summer. Kiln April. Fable fall. Forza Horizon is May. Fallout 3 remasters in active development. New Starfield update. Yeah, there's rumors Starfield's coming to PlayStation in like April or something. New Xbox controller planned. Possible Xbox Elite Series 3. Ongoing improvements of the full screen Xbox experience. Improved Xbox PC areas. Okay, so Forza in May. And then Halo Campaign, summer. Second half Gears. Fable. That's a strong year if they all actually make it. I'm telling you right here, Fable in the fall is that's the most precarious of the bunch. I don't know about that one, boys. I don't know. Their next gameplay outing will be what really either changes my mind or re-cements my skepticism about that game's readiness. Stone Spire submitted a question on the subject of GTA 6. They said marketing will start this summer. How likely is it we get gameplay footage in GTA 16 PS5 Pro pre-orders during the Summer Game Fest week? I think very likely that we see PS5 bundles. I think we see some kind of a marketing deal with PlayStation. We know PlayStation likes to kick things off in May, late May, early June. They like to do that to kind of kick off Summer Game Fest. So, yeah. Some people complaining that Guerrilla should be focusing on Horizon 3. Isn't Hunter's Gathering? It's a total side project. The studio is currently working on Horizon's next single-player game. They've already said that. Brother, what games do you like? Can we get something light and positivity? What are you talking about, Prosy? What do you mean? I mean, I showed the Nioh 3 review roundup and told people that it's considered one of the best Niohs in the franchise and one of the best Souls-likes to come out. It's got an 86, and I told people that are fans of the franchise or those style games, they could definitely check it out. I've told people that the Cairn climbing game is really, really enjoyable. I played Nioh Memories in Orbit, Metroidvania, told people I can recommend it with a lot of caveats. I played and rolled credits on Crypt Custodian. It's one of the best Metroidvanias I've ever played. That one was recently on sale, I think. I'm enjoying Pal World with Madam. Like, I can't always balance out the criticism and the I can't always balance that out every time I'm talking. Be like, oh yeah, by the way, guys, here's a dash of sugar. You know, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. I can't always do that, like in conversation. You know. I'm definitely not a negative Nancy. There's plenty of people out here who have been talking about gaming sucks and gaming is bad and everything that comes out is poo-poo stinky. And I'm like, dude, I think gaming's in a great spot. You gave Control a ton of praise. I wrote a script for Control. I've got a video I'd like to make about the philosophy of Control and what it means for the next game. I don't know if and when that video comes out, but I started working on it last night, and I like the script. I think it's good. Even playing Phantom Liberty, it's so good. Oh, I loved Phantom Liberty. I put 26 hours in it. That was after fall starting with Cyberpunk 3 times. What are the odds of GTA Standard Edition's $100? Low. I think they're going to charge $80, and then I think they'll do $100 like early access edition. Like 72 hours of early access for 100 digital deluxe. They'll sell that thing. They'll sell more copies of the $100 version than the 80. So, should cover the Sony earnings. I was going to kick that to tomorrow. I covered Yotei sales. That's about it. The Guerrilla game hijacked the entire opening of the show. So I think we'll kick the PlayStation earnings to tomorrow and how the console's doing, the MAU, more shattered narratives. Not a negative Nancy, not coming down on you. No, I know, Prosy. I'm just saying sometimes sometimes it's negative. That's just the way it's going to be sometimes. Quick thoughts, Garrett. I think the art style needs to be more definitively Horizon, and I think they need to consider letting us make our own heroes. I think those are two things that are going to turn a lot of people off. Its current art style, structure, and gameplay, it could do very well in the Asian market with the big Monhun community there. I think like Western and European fans might look at it and feel like it's just very adjacent and similar to a lot of hero games that have come out recently. Like, it doesn't look distinctly Horizon. The cinematics looked great. They looked almost like a cel-shaded anime that you'd see on Netflix. It looked dope. And then we got into the gameplay, and I was like, I don't know. This looks super, super familiar and similar to lots of other games right now. Doesn't feel distinctively Horizon. Yeah, the MAU is impressive, and it just shows more signs of growth that we were told wasn't possible. And they haven't even really cracked the egg, or not. No, the nut. They haven't cracked the nut of the Chinese market even remotely. They crack that nut and get folks in that economy to buy PlayStations. Good golly. I mean, they just started ramping up marketing in the Chinese market end of last year. There's a really good guy to follow on Twitter about this. What's his name? He's really, really helpful. He's kind of boots on the ground in China and can take pictures and stuff and cover. They just started really pushing and marketing PlayStation in China last year. They start making moves there, like Phantom Blade Zero could really help them. The Horizon MMO, which is only a mobile game, by the way, from NCSoft, that could really help them in China. Yeah, GTA 6 is going to really help them with saturation as well. Yeah. iPhone just got in China at a financial gain after all these years. Yep. I'm trying to find him right now. Yeah, that's him. Thank you. If you guys want to follow somebody on Twitter who's extremely helpful for gaming in the Chinese market, follow Daniel Olamak. That's his handle. Daniel Camillo's his name. He is extremely helpful. He's very nice, very sweet guy. And he's constantly tweeting about, the Chinese market and advertising and things like that. And he was really helpful at some events and things last year, like boots on the ground, taking pictures and showing like PlayStation's just starting to push into that market. So if they can have growth in that market, that MAU number and their sales of the PlayStation are going to be, and GTA 6 especially is going to shift things. So, okay, I tell you what we're going to do. I'll give you guys a few more minutes. Try to get it to 300 likes. That is like super, super helpful to this video later if it's got a good amount of likes. So we're super close to 300 likes. Do that. Check your re-ups and your resubs and your primes. We're 4 away from a milestone of me owing you guys a member. When you're that close, I always want to give you guys a second to check your resubs. And then we're going to go to the green room in the Discord. It is after 1 o'clock. And I know this stream's only been 3 hours long, but that's because we also went live early and covered the Nintendo Direct. I went live at like 8:30 this morning. Wired Rope's going to secure it. Boom. 176. I'm pretty sure I owe a member to each platform. I'm pretty sure I do. So I'm going to give one to Nintendo. To Nintendo. I'm going to give one to Twitch. What the frick? I'm going to give one to Nintendo. I'm going to give one to Twitch. And then I'm going to give one to YouTube. What is happening to my brain? Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Jiminy Christmas. I gave myself a verbal flat tire. I mentioned we did the Nintendo stream and I couldn't get that word out of my brain. There we go. And the goal this week is only 400. I did take Wednesday off. I had a prior engagement. A friend of mine was getting to do something that's like a once-in-a-lifetime career opportunity as a professor, and I was not going to miss it. I've known the guy for like 20 years, and he's just such an awesome guy. I didn't want to miss it. So we have lowered the goal for the Saturday stream with Madam to 400 because I think that's fair. So you guys are going to have a bit of a hike tomorrow to get the count up to 400. So we'll go to Green Room here in just about 4 minutes. Where are we on likes? We need 10 more likes. 10 more like-a-roonies. Thank you guys that were here for moment one this morning, watching that Nintendo Direct and then watching this live show as well. I greatly appreciate the continued engagement and support. Whether you're re-upping, lurking, liking, chatting, gifting, those are all amazing ways that help me do this full time. So thank you for being a contributor to what we do here. Four minutes on the clock. Yeah, sometimes I let you guys extend, which whenever we have like this kind of an uphill battle, I typically let you guys do that. Jor Raptor says it's in the word council. It would be extremely counterintuitive to only invite people who will like it, as that is not a good representation of what will actually happen when they reveal it, like we are all seeing right now. And of course, if I can still help it be the best that it can. So what's Jor Raptor replying to? This guy says, you said you were extremely disappointed in it. I guess you can be part of that and still not like the game, but at what point why remain a part of it? I'm assuming he says all the things that people aren't happy about seeing it now you knew about and already communicated to them about. It looks like I recognize some of the people in this picture. It looks like Ammunition was there. I think, yeah, I don't know all the names of the people in this picture, but I recognize a lot of the people in this picture. Like, I recognize their faces. It looks like a pretty eclectic group of creators. I would say that's a good place to start. Get a lot of different vantage points and viewpoints on the game. I think that's a good idea. Because I do think sometimes we forget there are people and there are cultures that are going to play a game like that and they're going to receive it very, very differently. And we're all like, that looks dumb. I lost faith in Joraptor when he said Mind's Eye was great. He never said that. Where did he say that? I thought Joraptor came out and was extremely critical of that game. Yo, what's good, Mr. Bald Beast? Been following since 2019. Let's go. Let's go, brother. How are you? Last time you commented was in April when I got the channel back. Good man, how are you? I am great. I am great. He made a video apologizing about it. Okay, hang on one second. So, the man was involved in preview events and the run-up to Mind's Eye. He misfired in his coverage. He got misled like a lot of people did. And he apologizes after. And you're like, yeah, I lost faith in him? I don't know about that one. Mikey Mike with 15 months. Let me add it to the total. 177. Hey, Lono, enjoy the content. What are your thoughts on Power World so far? I've been playing it the past month. Madam and I really like it. I actually have a hard time shutting the game off. I'm like, come on back. I'm like, Mama, come back to the base. What are you doing? She's like, no, I got to get one more thing. I got to climb one more hill. I'm like, babe, it's 11:30. Jiminy Christmas. It is really hard to get her to stop playing that dadgum game. I've never seen her react to a game like this, not since like Hogwarts Legacy. She's just out there, just doing things, man. Just finding eggs and spirits and I never left you, my brother. I followed you on YouTube there. Been there the whole... Oh, I appreciate that, Mr. Bald Beast. I was going to say, I feel like I've seen your username on YouTube before as well. Yeah. He should have seen the signs with mind's eye for someone as plugged in as he is. I'm willing to let somebody with Joe Raptor's reputation and longevity, I'm willing to believe the best about him and be like, a homie was super busy. Do you know how busy he probably is getting to do events and capture and record and this, that, and the third? You know? And he was like, it looks good to me. You know? He's getting access. He's getting sponsorships. And then he comes out and he's like, yeah, I'm sorry. This is a pile of crap. What game? What do you mean, what game, Omar? What game are you asking about? You almost got the platinum? Then what? I like Joe Raptor, he's got some misses. As we all do. I thought Kill the Justice League was going to be good. And then I came out later and I was like, oh my gosh, it's bad. I'm sorry. Oh, the one that Madam is stuck on? Pal World. I can't ever get her to stop playing. Yeah, we're playing Pal Worlds in the evening. And I'm like, babe, come back to the base. We need to go to bed. She's like, one more thing. I got to climb this hill and get this egg. I'm like, oh my gosh. All right, guys. Hit the like button. We're done. Hit that like button. Get us to 300 likes. If you guys are not in the Discord, you can't continue with us right now. You're going to miss out on the extra content, all right? Oh, you're working on the Karen Plat? We're going to the Discord. We're going to discuss what we're going to do tomorrow. And I appreciate y'all's ongoing support. All right? And you guys are awesome. All right? And we're going to take it to the Discord. You guys are excellent. We love and appreciate all you do for us. Okay? All right. I'll see you guys over there. Thanks for another great day. All right? Take care.